Welcome to the Modern Streamers League, Week 9, Night 2. We are so close to the Modern Streaming League's conclusion, which is coming up next week. But right now, we have a real exciting night planned for you. We have the guys from Gamers and Geeks here, known frenemies, known rivals, one representing Team Fire, one representing Team Ice. I'll introduce them in just a moment. I want to recap what the Modern Streamers League is. It's 20 streamers playing lots of modern content. Right now, Team Fire is beating Team Ice 19-16. That's all you really need to know right now. But I want to introduce my guests. Got Noble Murloc coming from Team Ice.
How's it going?
and Ryan Steiner, or VizQuiz, coming from Team Fire.
Howdy, y'all.
So glad to have you guys on. Ryan's a recurring guest. Noble, this is your first time on right now, and I'm really, really excited to have you on. Your animations while streaming, winning or losing, always are entertaining. So I'm really glad we get to get your voice on here as well too.
Technically, I'm a little scared, to be honest. We have to release the Murloc this week, and I'm not sure whether I'm excited about this or not.
The Murloc is going to be fully released, and we are not sure if we're ready for it, not sure if we can handle it. It's just something that we're going to have to see. So,
only time will tell whether this was the smartest idea we have ever done or one of the worst ideas we've ever considered thinking of.
Unleashing the Murloc may doom us all. Pun intended.
I see what you did. That's very punny, my guy, but we'll see. Whoa!
So tonight we have some great matches. We have the guy who just came in 11th at a GP. Also, Mr. Congratulations, 3 months in a row subscription, Capolo himself, playing against DaviusMinimus for round 1. We have a deck tech from Kevin KoDiamonds on Jund while he's playing against the Tryhards in round 2. Then Ryan VizQuiz will be playing against Cyrus, the guy who just won the GP, the Legacy GP, for round 3. We have YamaKiller and GhostxEmpire in round 4, and Susurus and PuntThenWhine to close out the night. So 5 exciting matchups, lots of different decks. That's one thing that's really amazed me so far with the Modern Streamers League. How many different decks we have. Like, we Season 1, we had 19 different deck lists out of 20 different players. Season 2, it's very, very similar.
Yeah, we've got a whole lot of different things, a whole different meta going around than the first time around, and then things just keep changing, and there's so many different decks. It's very exciting to see the scope and the range that all of these players have, and that their want and drive to continue, even some of the people wanting to play their same decks over and again, to be able to prove that they are still masters at what they are, even though the league is changing, people are playing new decks, and it's neat to see the color and the variety that goes around this whole time around.
Absolutely. I'm glad how we keep changing with the times, too. There's been a lot of change in Modern over the last 9 weeks. In the Modern Streamers League, if you just go back and watch us on YouTube or watch any of the VODs, you can kind of see those changes as we've had the opportunity to change deck lists over time. You can see how Modern has shifted over time. And right now we're in an Urza heavy meta that also has a sprinkling of Stoneforge Mystic decks, and that's what the Modern Streamers League is representing right now too.
Completely. It's very neat to see the different decks all kind of, mingling around with each other and having some similarities here and there, and then everyone's understanding of what the meta is at the moment, and to be able to say that we have to be able to combat this. And you're seeing like sideboard cards all be the same almost, and little sprinkles here of goodness in everybody's deck. So it's pretty neat.
A little sprinkle of goodness. You guys heard it here first. Hashtag sprinkle of goodness. I hope you guys add that to.
Definitely. And then the best part about it is even though this is the Modern Streamers League, we still have to have our amulet everywhere where we go. So Team I still has to represent the amulet meta, so it's still there for everyone that needs that other extra sprinkle of goodness. Shall we call it?
A sprinkle of goodness is definitely getting 2 amulets in play, so you can attack with a very, very strong prime time. Now, speaking of sprinkles of goodness, we have Murloc here right in between us. First of all, your hat is amazing. And second of all, your deck lists, while questionable as to whether or not I want to bring them to a GP, are always very interesting, very unique. Like a sprinkle of goodness has been added to each one, or a sprinkle of Murloc has been added to each of your deck lists. I mean, Genesis Wave in Modern, bringing back Zoo Burn. What inspired you to do a lot of these changes?
Well, so the first deck, of course, my daughter, she's a huge Burn player in Modern. It's her favorite deck. She's like, hey, let's play this deck. And we were sitting, and I was like an hour from having to turn my deck list. I was like, all right, I'm playing Burn. Let's do it. And then the Genesis Wave deck, I didn't know what to expect out of a Hogak world. I was like, hey, let's have fun with this. Let's see if I can make the biggest walking ballista in the universe and just machine gun kids. And then the doubling season deck, I think I might have fell asleep when I was trying to put in my deck list, and I put in a doubling season deck. But hey,
you've got to win. You've got to win with the doubling season deck. So that in and of itself is incredibly impressive. Because I would, if someone had said, "Oh, someone is playing doubling season," I'd be like, "Oh, they're, OX, right? Like 0 wins." But no, you've gotten there with doubling season, which is not.
Playing against Cat was rough too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yep. That was that was absolutely insane what happened there. So we have a full night ahead of us. We'll get more sprinkles of goodness into this Modern Streamers League. Where Team Fire is currently up, not just in this season, but in this particular week, trying to win this week. Team Fire is currently up 3-2. Now, the way the Modern Streamers League works is that we have 10 different weeks. We have 2 seasons. Season 1 was the first 5 weeks, and Team Ice won 26-24, while we tied on the actual weekly wins. Team Fire, therefore, needs to win Season 2. If they get 26-24 and in the same number of week wins, we will actually just tie the league, which would be incredible. But it looks like they're just blowing away and running away with this season with currently a 3-game lead and a 1-game lead on this week. We've had some incredibly close weeks. I believe the majority of our weeks have been right around the 6-4 range, which just speaks to how even and how close not just the modern format is, but this league is. It's really been something that's really made me happy. So I'm sorry if I've talked a little bit too much about that.
It definitely shows the talent on both sides of the teams and the diversity that, some were worried that, some sides may be stacked, but, Fire has showed up, Ice has showed up and said, no, there's no stacking here. This is legit talent, and we are capable of keeping up with each other. And this league has been tight. It's been fantastic. I cannot say the fathom and the wonder that's come from this league. It's been extremely close.
Absolutely. With the exception of all my opponents, everyone else has done really, really well this particular league. I had to throw that one out there, just burn Team Fire a little bit before Capolo jumps in the chat and says that the teams aren't fair. But we are brought to you by Card Hoarder and Card Kingdom. Those are the companies I actually use to buy my products. I buy my digital products on Card Hoarder, as friends of my stream can attest to. Sometimes I'll just, I need that one card, bam, just buy it. And it happens very quickly. I'm talking like seconds, and you have your cards. Card Kingdom, now mailing cards doesn't take seconds, but they do it in a day or two. It's very quick, great prices, great service. I've never regretted buying something from Card Kingdom. It's been phenomenal. Those are their sponsors. Definitely check them out. Now, the league itself we're raising awareness and money for 2 great charities. Team Fire is representing A21, which is a charity working to end and abolish slavery worldwide. Team Ice, meanwhile, is working with the Cancer Research Institute and raising funds and awareness to stop cancer worldwide. Both things affect millions and billions of people around the world on a yearly basis, whether someone you know, or maybe you didn't know. Either way, slavery and cancer shouldn't be around anymore. It's 2019. We can do better, humans. So definitely check out those 2 great charities. Everything's in the links below. But meanwhile, without further ado, I want to get to our first match, and then we can have some great commentary from these 2 frenemies. You can see how much they love to hate each other in just a bit. We are going to jump into the Forecast of Doom after a 45-second break, and then we will get right into Capolo versus Davius. I'll see you all in a second. welcome to the Forecast of Doom. This is Saint Doom, and we have two great matches. Oh, one great match, two great decks here. We have DaviusMinimus on Saheeli Niv Mizzet, which is just this amazing big mana bring to light deck, this 5-color monstrosity that I look at this deck and I'm saying, how can this work? And then I watch him play it and I'm like, oh, that worked well. Against Capolo, who's on Urza's Paradox, which is a Urza, it's kind of like the Urza Thopter deck, except it's running Paradox to draw a ton of cards and do a lot of work. I have been told this deck is just as explosive as a Thopter Sword combo without being as reliant on the graveyard, so that is actually something pretty intriguing to me. Now, main board, the primary cards we're looking at in this particular matchup is Davius has a lot of useful cards. He has Teferi, which can bounce artifacts, or even Urza, or just the token itself. He has Knight of Autumns, Trophies, Decay, Culligan's Command, Bring to Light, and even an Izzet Charm can counter a key spell on Capolo's side. But that doesn't mean that Capolo's doomed here. Capolo has a much faster Goldfish, in my opinion, a more consistent engine. His entire deck is trying to do one thing and do it very, very well. So I actually think Capolo is actually favored here with the more consistent combo deck. I think he can get under the big mana deck Davius here. Of course, I'm a Team Ice guy, and I'm rooting for Davius to pull this off. And Davius has a ton of sideboard help he can bring out, including Dovin's Veto and Unmoored Ego, because Unmoored Ego can name Urza and just completely stop Capolo's deck. On Urza's side, he does have a Disdainful Strokes, and he can bring in a Teferi, which can stop a Bring to Light. Lots of really unique cards here, lots of really unique choices. I'm really excited to see how this particular match plays out.
Well, here we go. Round 1 of the Modern Streamers League, and we have the beginning of what is going to be a fantastic matchup. We've got a whole bunch of colors here for us in our rainbow deck on top, and then we've got Capolo down on the bottom with our blue color deck, and he's going to be jamming so many artifacts. I'm pretty excited about this. What do you think, Scott?
Well, that was an amazing draw, too. The Opal is going to really let him get a really nice start. He's going to probably go Astrolabe first.
Oh, yeah, that was definitely a 100% like the perfect draw. We're going to see a lot of 0 drops and then probably run into, as you mentioned, this Labe. I think we're going to probably see the Serum Visions to continually set up the next turn that we're going to have here. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful start for Capolo here.
Oh, I agree. And especially since he has the ability just to combo off out of nowhere. Oof. That was good that we're going to try those to the bottom.
Yeah, 3 lands in a row doesn't make things pretty good for our Capolo fellow here.
I hear artifacts are the name of the game, and the game isn't that good when you're just playing lands.
This is true. I mean, we're going to need more than just all mana, and that's currently what we're seeing out of Capolo right now with the Teferi on turn 2. Wow, turn 2 Teferi.
That's going to be rough. Like, not being able to cast your War whenever, or not your outcome. Apology. I don't think he's playing that War in this list.
Yeah, this is a very different list than your normal, shall we say, Urza deck. This doesn't play a lot of the lock pieces. This is all combo here. And all it's trying to do is just go off and put as many like artifacts as it can into play, return them back to their hand, and then just draw cards and put more back into play until we can get things like Psy or like a lot of, shall we say, spins with the Artifact Lord Urza.
Oof.
Oof, yeah, things are getting pretty hard here. We're seeing a lot of planeswalkers on our opponent's side. Do you think Capolo is going to have any opportunity to get into this game here?
I don't think so. Like, the only thing that's going to be able to get him back is he's going to have to find a Paradox outcome very quick before a Niv Mizzet comes down, which I think we could see a Niv Mizzet very, very soon. And Niv Mizzet Daddy says, not coming in my house.
Yeah, that's definitely something to be concerned about. 5 colors is going to produce the Dragon Lord, and he's going to draw a lot of cards to be able to interact. One thing I do notice that we kind of see here is a little bit of saving on our Capolo side for Psy. He's always going to have to consider that part of his deck when he's sitting here considering what to play. And we've already got a Felidar Guardian coming in. Things are starting to get a little scary here.
Oh, I agree. Being able to use Teferi twice in a turn is hot.
Yeah, right. I think we got a bounce by Teferi and then a reuse with the Feldor Guardian.
Ooh, there's a Nexus. That's a goodie.
There's some spice. Now we're going to have to sit here and count our mana and figure out whether we can actually cast that, and we're going to see it go down to the bottom. Do you like that play there, or would you rather hold on to that for later?
I like playing it to bomb, but I kind of like, I don't know, I kind of like getting that EE there, because if we can put on 3 and clear a little bit of this, I mean, he could just be dead, right? This Feldon Guardian could just really lock things up, depending on what he gets. If he gets Saheeli and just combos off. But at that point, I would think, if I'm Capolo, I'm just going to want to try to set myself up to either disrupt or try to win. So he might just be trying to find the outcome.
Yeah, it looks like Capolo's going to need that lightning bolt sitting behind him here real soon to be able to knock out any of these planeswalkers. Hopefully he can, just look behind and grab it, because he's going to need some help here.
Yeah, he is definitely in help mode.
Yeah, and then we've got an Oath of Kai coming down to put 3 damage to the face. And then we might see a little bit of the whole Blink package going on with Oath of Kai, possibly picking up Feldor Guardian, blinking the Oath, or just picking the Oath up itself to blink itself.
Okay.
Wow,
that's a good one.
There's a decent card to pick up for this turn. It's going to let him do a little bit, but we're missing the velocity that we normally see from this deck. He's just got the start. He doesn't have anything to
keep an Urza away, like are Urza away from just going off now?
We are almost just an Urza away. You are correct. We just need the Urza Lord to come out here and save us, because we've got a lot of the pieces ready to go. We've got our spells to cast. We've got our Paradox Engine to untap Urza and all of our mana, basically, and we're just sitting here waiting. One Urza away.
Oof.
Tilt. We've got a problem. Yeah,
when in doubt, Colligan's command says get out.
Yeah, get it out of here. We got destroy target artifact and discard a card with the 2 modes picked. We'll see Campolo put down the Prismatic Vista, and down goes the Paradox Engine. What can Campolo pull here, Mr. Murloc? What do we got?
It just depends on what's left in David's hand. Like, if he just, I mean, he's stalling, but at the same time, he is putting on a decent amount of pressure.
Well, speaking of that pressure, here comes the 1/4 down. With 3 cards left in Davies' hand, we only have to wonder if they're going to be any good and whether they'll be able to keep up with these 0-mana artifacts that just add mana.
Right. Like I said, Capolo is definitely looking for an outcome.
Whoop!
That'll do it.
Well, here's another way to buy a whole nother turn. Nexus of Fate decided to show its ugly face here. I personally am not a huge fan of the fact that this card actually exists. After playing against it in Standard a lot, to be able to see my opponent just go over and over and over. And we're going to see basically just a time walk here to go with, just adding our land and putting it into play and shipping it back. So as good as that Nexus of Fate draw was, Scott, there's nothing more that he can do with it.
Oh, boy. Instant speed. Bring the light. Bring me the love.
Oh, boy, yes. Oh, instant speed, Niv Mizzet on the end of turn, and we're seeing the peels to be fairly minor. We've got a trophy and a Renegade Rally, or possibly a Decay was one of the picks, but I'm willing to bet that that trophy was chosen for the Golgari type. Would you not agree?
Right. I think that's exactly why he chose it. I think we're pretty much at the end of this game, I do believe, because now with that trophy in hand and with Safari locking down the instant speed clause, I feel like Capola is going to need a miracle.
Yeah, Capolo's already throwing up the white flag, it looks like, and saying, yeah, nice bird. I don't think there's much more we can do here. We're going to see possibly, I think, Niv Mizzet's a 6/6. We're going to see a swing with the 1/4 and the 6/6, and we're going to go down to, what is this, 4 now?
Yeah, we're definitely on. He's on a 1-turn clock now, and now he just plays the bird. I think we're at this point where we're probably just going to see a concession. Just depends what he's playing to. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Very frosty.
There's nothing more left for him to do. Just a Mirsh's Bobble to end the game. Especially since that's not going to draw the card for the turn. So we're going to run it on back, and we're going to see if there's any help in the sideboard for Capolo against the 5-color Mizzet deck. Here comes. So what do you like, Scott? I like these strokes that he's bringing in.
I like this Rebuke. I like
Rebuke.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we've got Rebuke. Do you think he's going to aim for any of these pushes? Maybe brutalities?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I kind of think he's gonna definitely keep his needles in. He's just gonna cut some of this bigger stuff, bring in some counter magic, because I think the thing about the 5-color and Mizzet deck is it's a tap out deck for the most part. I do like Teferi though. Like I do like Teferi a lot.
Is it possible that you just like Teferi and any opportunity that you can get to play it?
I mean, that's beyond the point. I also like there's a Tezzeret. I like when the game in other ways now. I think he's just gonna have to figure out a way to slow him down.
Yeah, and with that being said, we're going to see, again, the Rebukes come in. The Pithy Needles came in from the sideboard. I think at this point, Capolo's like, what in the world do I cut? And that's going to be the question to figure out here. Obviously, we can see the couple Paradox Engines come out. And then we saw what looks to be another Psy. And here comes all the Planeswalkers. Do you like these Planeswalkers again?
I do. I like a way where he's going to have to either be swinging at these walkers or dying to them, and he's going to have to put Capolo on a really quick clock because of his Tezzeret just says wins the game with all these artifacts. But to be fair, he is having to cut a good bit of his artifact. I think his artifact count will be less than 20 now.
I kind of want to say that it may be good to go ahead and knock off a little bit of our combo pieces. Even more, and we can shave and then just bring in some of this extra stuff. I do like these EE coming out as they don't hit a lot. A lot of the pieces that you want to hit from DaviusMinimus' sides are all going to be higher than 3, whether that be the Felidor Guardian or the Saheeli being at 3, along with your Nif Mizzet at 5. So
correct.
I definitely do not mind these explosives coming out, and then he's going to sit here and trim on a lot of these other things. This is a pretty decent sideboard plan that I like going on from Capolo. So what do you think is going to be the important parts for Capolo to get going? Does he need velocity? Does he need card advantage? Where should we want to be on Capolo's side?
So this hand's tricky, right? Like, I think it's fine, but what happens if this Teferi just gets countered? This hand looks like it could be really crippling and fall apart. So I'd be worried about this hand.
Definitely, and we do have to remember that even though Davius is like a 5-color deck, he's definitely holding some counter spells in his deck, whether they be Dovin's Veto or any other flavor of counter that he's got. That was an interesting draw, as we're going to get some mana going here. We're going to see a Wellspring down. We're going to get a draw a card, and we've got another land off the top. Any of this helpful to Capolo here?
I don't think so. Like, we can cast a nice Wellspring. That Daddy's Home.
Yeah, Daddy's Home is definitely the thing to think about. Now, we had a land pass by DaviusMinimus. What does this scream to you?
This says veto to me.
It's a very interesting call here. We've got a shock for the Hollowed Fountain, and we're probably going to see some sort of counterspell here. Here we go.
Oh, Izzet Charm is definitely a good one as well.
Yeah, one that I don't think many of us was expecting to have happen to us today. We've got swing back around, and we got a Marsh Flats coming off the top, and then we're going to see another what looks to be pass around. Are we still considering a counterspell to be an option here?
No, I think at this point he's just bluffing it. I would have played Urza last turn, to be honest with you, and the reason why I say that is I would like to go ahead and get that down and just be able to start casting other things this turn, but Capolo knows this deck better than I do. It's very tricky, and the lines are very not plain sight.
Wow, so we've got a Seer Visions with a peel off the top of a Mox Opal, and our Scries look to be some of our better cards in the deck. We had Scythe, Master of Thopter to go along with another round of Urza, and we may even see, I don't quite know, did you happen to notice whether here's your Abrupt Decay on the token. Did you see whether Psy ended up on top or bottom by chance?
I do think it ended up on top, but if it did, do you like just leaving that Opal in your hand?
Well, being as we have another one, I think that's where Capolo's starting to head, and it's possible he could have even left that one other Opal in his hand to get another token, shall we say.
Right,
but we're going to
see. He can start drawing cards, too, as well, when sacking those tokens when he blocks. And that's the awesome thing, right, is that tokens can start tapping themselves for mana, and things get really interesting at that point.
Indeed. So we've got to send back to the turn for Capolo, and DaviusMinimus is going to have to consider what's the best route for us to go from here. And we're going to cross our fingers and hope that the Dragon Lord hasn't showed up.
Yeah, I think that's where we're heading. Oh, no, bring the light to find it. Wait, no, that's 4 mana, so he doesn't get to go get him. Wonder what he's looking for. It's probably a removal spell?
It's possible. I could definitely see some sort of removal to get rid of here. I could be... There's no way we're going to pick anything up like a Felidor Guardian. Yeah, okay, so we're going to get the Assassin's Trophy, and the Assassin's Trophy is going to take down the Urza. This is a proactive route to be able to say that you can't go off next turn, unless, of course, you have another one. But I think our top deck is Sai. Oh, yes, there we go. Wonderful. So Sai has been the draw for the turn, and it's coming on down, and I would not be surprised to see the rest of this funsies coming with it.
So my question is, do you think it was correct for Davius to tap to get Trophy? Do you like that play, getting the Urza off the top and trying to make him shuffle, since the Center Visions was, I do think it was top.
I really do like the play by Davius to be able to, remove Urza from the board, because that's something that needed to be done 100%. And then also to say, instead of just picking a regular removal spell, get the one that potentially lets the top of the deck go away. And then you could get the non-land pick out of... Wow. Ooh. Niv Mizzet has shown up, and he's bringing friends.
Oh, my. Ooh, Damping Spear. That's an interesting bring-in.
Interesting, yeah. So as we sit here and watch Coppola peel out the non-picks, we're going to run up with a Dovin's Veto, a Shalai, Assassin's Trophy, and interesting Supreme Verdict that was brought in from the board for DaviusMinimus. So what do you think is going to be the best thing for Coppola to do to work around everything that's been presented to him?
Well, I don't know. Like, part of me wants to just pass the turn, and if he goes and casts a Supreme Verdict, crack this fair and go get something that might be useful, but he's going all in.
It's possible we could see Coppola try and go off right here.
That is true as well. If he does, as long as his Urza hits are not that, we would be fine.
That was a small little tilt there for Team Fire to be able to say we're not going to get anything good off of this one, but an island. Wow, that was an interesting peel off.
Yep, I don't think I agree with that, but that was what I was worried about.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that he definitely is going to go ahead and spin that Urza right there, but that was just a sad pick. Now we're going to see Niv Mizzet come in the crack zone, and here comes 6 with a chump block. Yeah, thankfully Niv Mizzet does not have trample, so we're going to just get a chump block here and add some mana and a sacrifice draw from the Sai. So we're going to try and outgrind our opponent from here.
Yep, I mean, and at this point, I think we might go ahead and see the Supreme Verdict. Leave him with just 2 cards in hand. Why not?
Yeah, Coppola's mildly upset here. We're seeing some more interesting draws come off the top for him. Hopefully, the tide will turn, and we won't have to worry about all these wonderful things coming from DaviusMinimus' side. Oh, wow, we've got...
Are we going to copy? Oh, cool. Let's copy this Niv Mizzet, please.
Sadly, I don't think there's copying. Well, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow. Here we go.
Ooh,
I have a copy, Niv Mizzet. Wow. Oof.
Oh, is that a fracturing gust?
That's a fracturing gust. That's a fracturing gust and a lot of other good things going on right here. Ooh. Wow.
The King of Squirrels doesn't seem like he's too happy.
Not at this moment. We're going to see Supreme Verdict being cast to empty out this board. Things are not going Coppola's way here. We might see a clean sweep here. Man, another land.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he can Inventor's Fair for. I'm trying to think, I don't know if he wants to get a Needle and name, Teferi, or if but with that Fracturing Gust, it's just, alright, he's looking to see when he needs to sack this. Because we could see a Fracturing Gust at this turn, which would be very, very scary. Coppola would be just as what's in, trying to play off the top.
I really don't think we'll see the Fracturing Gust so much, whereas we're going to see this Ashiok likely come down to prevent any searching, I would think.
That is true. Oh, no. Teferi.
Teferi in, and we're going to probably see us send on back with some mana up to trophy, whatever they feel like. I don't really know if we'd even see a Fracturing Gust come out this turn. There's not much to fracture except for, a little bit of mana on our opponent's side, especially since this Bobble is going to go away after we look at the top. And it's possible that if the top card's even good enough, we may not even get an Inventor's Fair this turn.
Right. I'm not sure if he's going to crack the Bobble yet. because he wants to administer first. Yep, and here's the needle play I was talking about.
Interesting. So we've got a pity needle being picked from the land. We brought back our needle from the fair. I'm not sure if that's things you really want to hear from your children when they come home from the fair.
No.
Oh man, with a metallic rebuke coming out, I don't see much of any help here other than to shut down this Saheeli. Scott, what is Capolo looking to draw here? Is this another scenario where we're like, I need Urza again?
I think at this point he's calling the 1-800-HELP hotline, and no one's picking up.
Yeah, help! Somebody, please! SOS! Capolo needs you. Oh man, down to 10 goes DaviusMinimus, and we're gonna see probably something else happen at the end of turn.
Yeah, and Capolo is such a tight player. He always sees the heads up lines when other people don't. I mean, it's just when you draw 20 lands out of your 18 land deck, I mean, there's not much you can do except sit there and watch.
Very sad. So we got an Assassin's Trophy at the end of the turn, and Capolo's realizing that he can't rebuke this trophy at all. Teferi is such a powerful card to be able to stop any instant sorcery speed plays being happened, basically. So we've got a pickup of the planes and a ship on back to finish off the rest of Davius' turn. What is it? We just need a Felder Guardian to finish this, right?
Correct. And it's also good to note that, Team Heist and the Moto Shuffler are best friends in this match.
Apparently, because here we have the Bring to Light, and I'm pretty sure this is going to do it right here. We're going to see the Felder Guardian come down, blink to Saheeli.
It's burning time, baby.
And here comes Team Ice with the victory.
Ooh, this deck is amazing. Ever since when they spoiled the Mizzet, I was so excited about the card, and I played it in Standard for a while, and seeing this deck just go off, it makes me very happy.
Yes, and here we go with the Concede with Capolo, and we're going to move on to our next round.
That was cold.
Cold
as ice? I don't know. Team Ice started out 0-3 this week and have taken the last 3 matches, tying the week at 3-3. How do you feel, Noble Murloc?
I am very happy. I mean, they better bring their jackets because it's about to be an ice storm in here.
Sadly, I can't say anything at the moment, being as a member of Fire, and I haven't, we haven't won a game yet today, or even over the past 2. So I can only say, bring out your rally fires, and we're gonna rally some peasants, shall we say?
All I'm saying is that this week was Team Fire 3, Team Ice 0, and then I played, and since then it's Team Ice 3, Team Fire 0. I don't know. Ryan, are you hoping that you will be an inspiration for Team Fire when you play round 3 today, that you can spark some energy into your team to try to bring back your team's prowess here in Season 2?
Hopefully, what I would like to do is take the Bring to Light that Davius has, take it, and use the prowess that we have for all of our red creatures and our red players and pump them up, basically. I'm looking to hope to say that, not just me as a member of Team Fire to be able to say that our team is fantastic, but that our team is able to rally and continue to win, even in the shadow of doubt that is risen upon us at the moment. So I'm saying that it's not just going to be me, that this will be a team rally here, and we're not giving up, because this is not the end of the road, and we even have another week to just torture you guys with. So yes, we will come back.
Yeah, full with MTGO puns and reference of card names there. I like it, but not being the Justin Timberlake, it's not going to be you. I don't know. We will have to see. I have a good feeling that you are not going to beat the guy who just took down the Legacy GP, Cyrus Corbin Gill.
This is definitely going to be a tough match. I mean, we got a GP winner against, well, poor little old me. But the sad thing is, let's just go to Cleveland and cry a river of fire.
All right, Buttercup, you're going to have to wrap it up. I can't do it.
So coming up next, we have the Tryhards on Esper Delay against KoDiamonds on Jund. We have a cool little deck tech from Kevin himself on the Jund player. Then we will have a forecast of Doom, and we will be right back. So we're going to have, one sweep through, 45-second break, deck tech, and then a match. We'll see y'all in a moment.
How's it going, guys? My name is Kevin, otherwise known as KoDiamonds, also known as the Honey Bear. And to end the season of the Modern Streamers League, I'll be playing some Jund. I know that I'm known as the Abzan mid-range player, but I think Jund gaining Renin 6 just has so much power level. It's a way higher power level than what Abzan can offer. And it's difficult to play BGX and be competitive without having this 2-mana Planeswalker, because I think it's a mistake. I mean, having this 2-mana Planeswalker that just generates so much value is absurd. And in my version of Jund, I like having 2 Peatlands and 2 Cyclers in 1 Barrenmoor and 1 Treacle Thicket. So having 4 of these lands in your mana base guarantees you to draw 1 per game. And in combination of Ren 6, you're just able to grind with any deck, and you can just drown your opponent in card advantage with these 2 cards. Other than that, I think the meta calls for 3 Kolaghan's Command. I think Artifact Hate is a premium right now, and the meta has slowed down, and in those grading matchups, Kolaghan's Command is an all-star, and having 3 feels really good. And I also like having 3 Skoos just because it's also good against the mid-range mirrors, and the life gate is pretty good against the aggro matchups and burn. My favorite card is Tireless Tracker, and in combination with Ren 6, she is absolutely fantastic. In the sideboard, I still like having 2 Surgicals. I think Surgical is still pretty good against the big mana, where you can trophy or Fulminator, a Tronland or Valakut, and Surgicaling it is still a good combination in my opinion. I like the Ancient Grudge. Like I said, Artifact Hate is a premium, and having a 2-for-1 in 1 card at instant speed is pretty good. I think Plague Engineer is one of the best cards that are printed in Modern Horizon. It's one of the best tools that we have in BGX because it just is a house against tribal decks. To round it out, I have Huntmaster of the Fells, also good against the aggro decks, and good against burn because it has a life gain. I think this card's really cool. It's also one of my favorite cards, so it's kind of more of a nostalgic value more than anything. And Vraska to round it out, I think Vraska is really good. Again, it's Artifact Hate. Having Abrupt Decay on a Planeswalker is really good. The plus is also good in combination of Tireless Tracker. The plus is also good with if you play these Cyclers, if you sack it to Vraska and bring it back of Ren 6, that is just absurd value. But yeah, hope I can Jund some faces in. If you guys want to get my opinion on BGX in general, you guys can follow me on Twitter. That's KoDiamonds22. That's my Twitter handle. And you can follow me on Twitch if you guys want me to stream. It's twitch.tv/KoDiamonds. Hope Team Ice can get there. Does bear Jund. Take it easy, guys.
Welcome back to the Forecast of Doom. We have a mid-range slugfest here. Something I'm very, very excited to watch. We have the tryhards on Esper Delay, and Matt actually played Jund to start off the Modern Streamers League. So this should be really interesting seeing him playing against KoDiamonds' version of Jund here. No Harsh Mentor in Kevin's list. More stock, although he has some spicy, spicy sideboard cards, which I'll get to in just a moment. Now, in typical mid-range battles, you're looking at to try to 2-for-1 your opponent. The best 2-for-1 the tryhards have is something like Stoneforge Mystic. And then he also has Teferi. Stoneforge Mystic is so good because it guarantees value when you play it. How does Jund beat that? Well, Kevin has 3 Kolaghan's Commands, which I'm putting as the key card in this matchup. Kolaghan's Command completely invalidates the entire Stoneforge Mystic package by shattering a Batterskull and possibly even killing the Stoneforge if that's the other mode you choose. If Kevin has lots of Kolaghan's Command and keeps those rolling, I predict he will win this particular matchup. However, if Matt is able to keep Kevin off balance with his mix of hand disruption, counter magic, and unique effects like Wasteland, Strangler, and Teferi, I think he can also pull this one out. The longer the game goes, whoever has the more 2-for-1s is going to win this particular matchup. Other interesting cards and interactions I want to point out, Delay works really well with Teferi because you never get that extra spell because it will be cast on your upkeep, which is not a time you can cast a sorcery. Spell Queller into Teferi feels downright broken because you can counter someone else's creature, tuck it under the Spell Queller, and then if they kill the Spell Queller, if Teferi is out, again, they don't get whatever card you countered. It just makes it a hard counter. Lavinia also does something similar with a lot of the particular cards, especially Spell Queller, which you're casting that card for 0 CMC. Lots of cool little interactions in this taxes-oriented Esper delay deck. Sideboard cards I want to get to real quick. Esper gets to bring in Celestial Purge, Plague Engineer, and Fatal Push, while Kevin gets to bring in Huntmaster of the Fells if he wants to go full grind, and I'm sure he does. By the way, Huntmaster of the Fells, one of my favorite Jund cards of all time. And new addition, Vraska, who seems to do everything that Kevin could want. I'm really excited to see this matchup. Let's see how it all plays out.
Well, welcome to round 2. I hope you strapped on your seatbelts today because this is going to be a long and bumpy ride here between our 2 mid-range decks. I don't know about you, Scott, but I love to watch some mid-range battles. It's just a slugfest back and forth. Where do you sit on this, spectrum?
I really like the Jund deck. I mean, I might be a little biased, but I think it just values so much. But I mean, Spell Queller and Teferi, as Doom talked in the forecast, is something to be really worried of. And this hand looks like it looks like a mulligan.
Yeah, this hand is full of what your typical lands and spells would be, but I could see a random keep here. We've got 2 removal spells and a counter spell.
I mean, and Filter Rune's not bad either. They're I don't know. Are they light on basics?
Normally, you would think that Jund would be light on basics. However, I think the new builds of Jund have added a little bit more because of their ability to, catch with Wrenn and 6. You're going to see a little bit more spice and variety out of your land base now. So I think they might be running an extra basic more than normal. But we're going to get to see the Keep from here from Tryhards and the IOK from KO. So we're starting the knockout punches already. What do you think we're taking here with this IOK?
So this is what I was kind of worried about is like your OK hands. I know it's hard to want to mulligan against any deck that's playing a lot of hand disruption, but I can see the Spell Queller being gone. Maybe a path if he chooses to turn 2 Goyf or something like that. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's just the Spell Queller.
Yeah, I think it's all very dependent upon how KoDiamond wants to basically attack the rest of this game. Whether he technically wants to, shall we say, make a pathway for his creatures to try and finish the game by taking the path, or whether he wants to try and stick something like a Liliana that hand currently doesn't have the ability to work inside of. We see a draw of Batterskull and a land and probably another pass back.
Well, this is another thing, right? Is having cards like Batterskull in your hand that are just never going to be able to come down, and if it does for some way find its way onto the field, it could find a very timely K command. And here's the Goyf like I was thinking. But it's kind of odd, right? To take the Queller over the path. Maybe Koi's low on lands?
It's possible that is that, or he is, you can say, overloading the path at the moment. I can only assume that, your suggestion of either I don't have land number 3, particularly black land number 3 for Liliana, or I just have a lot of creatures and I have to slug my way through all this stuff. But not taking one of the spells at the beginning is definitely, one of those check marks, to tick off to say that if I have a slug of creatures, I probably want to slug through with one less removal spell. We have Teferi coming down on Tryhard signs, and currently, Teferi's on the board, nothing else to go with. We've got a tick up and a pass back.
Right, Teferi can, could slow things down and give the Tryhards a chance to draw a couple more cards and clear the board, depending if this is a trophy. All right, well, that's a goodie. I could definitely see Goyf just getting bounced, depending if they have a second. No, Koi does not have a second thing to do that turn.
It was very interesting turnaround for KoDiamond there. We're going to see a Teferi bounce back up and basically a small time walk for the turn. I'm quite interested to not see some... Ooh, yeah, wow. We've got a path drawn off of the Teferi bounce. So every, answer is now in the hand for Tryhards to answer all of the creatures from KoDiamond. And I'm quite surprised not to see some alternate type of permanent out on the battlefield to help fight this Teferi. No
right.
lilies. Yeah, I mean it's a very weird spot. What do you think the particular 5-card hand of KO is at the moment?
I don't know. Like, we could have a couple fatal pushes. We could have a K command. Things that, aren't amazing. I don't think we have any bolt or any direct damage. Maybe not a K command, because we could see, like, Teferi going away and maybe make them discard. I'm not sure. It's very interesting. But I think the tryhards have a very commanding lead now from where we're at. I think it's time for KO to turn the ice up a little bit. We need the refrigerator to start running. We need the crank to happen.
Yeah, we've got the crank happening here with the Termaglyph coming down. And I wonder if this might have been like shall we say a fake out or a diverting type card being played here. They have the Termaglyph come down, and I think Tryhard might be trying to consider, what that possibility is as well. We don't even see the Spellcaller to take it out. We're probably going to use a path here to finish this Goyf off. Again, we're all still trying to figure out what KO is holding in his hand. I would think the land drop played ahead of time might be a suggestion of something else, which is maybe an angle he's working on as well. So I don't know. That 5 cards left in his hand is still, a little daunting. What's going on?
Well, don't ever forget that the one problem with Jund is you do have a huge tendency to draw a lot of lands. And that does happen.
That is true, and the neat thing now is you even have a little bit more tendency with Wrenn and 6 because you get to pick up your lands out of the graveyard and draw your lands at the same time. So that's 2 sources for you to get your lands, and now with Tryhards adding in a 3rd with Path, we should be seeing a lot of lands on our opponent's side. I wonder if we're going to wind up seeing a Bloodbraid Elf come down next turn.
Ooh, Bloodbraid Elf, man, he brings the hotness.
Yeah, the hotness and something else with it, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, there's always a party. I mean, another thing is, what if KO finds a Tireless Tracker? A Tireless Tracker could be fantastic.
Yeah, I do believe we have a couple Tireless Trackers in the main deck, and you're right. The land flood that we were talking about earlier, another path. The land flood we were talking about earlier could be easily mitigated by the Tireless Tracker.
Right, so that's kind of where I'm thinking is we're seeing very few action, or maybe KO just understands that he needs to just relax and wait for a good timing to try to get in. But my bet is on definitely a flood going on. All right, here's a bolt.
So we finally now have our answer for Teferi, and we're going to see Spellcaller come in here and try and say no, which will definitely happen. But we'll have to wonder whether there's going to be this extra removal spell coming out of KO to be able to get this bolt back.
Well, there's always the crazy play, which I would do because, I'm very noble. If he goes for a 2nd removal spell, he could always path the Queller in response, and he won't be able to cast the bolt.
Well, this is very true. Of course, we still have to get rid of Teferi before we can ever get anything out from underneath the Spell Queller, so
correct.
We'll have to work on that line first. And I think that might be what KO might have thought about here for a second as we have a mana untapping and trying to figure out our next line of play.
It could be the BBE you were talking about. At this point, maybe he's like, I can't worry about getting the 2nd spell. I just need to do it's just a cycle.
And that might be an also thought. Again, you might have had this lightning bolt be a fake out or the trick play to get the Bloodbraid Elf in here.
Correct. All right, there's 4 mana.
And we're just missing our red. This is probably the Bloodbraid Elf we were looking for. Sadly, we're going to find that Teferi's not going to let this Bloodbraid Elf do all of its fun things.
And that would have been amazing because he cracked the fetch and all, but this path can cleanly answer this, and things are just going to be a pretty chill time for the tryhards now. He gets to just cruise.
Yeah, and he gets to cruise and bruise his way through this match, particularly at this moment. Teferi is a house.
Interesting.
Especially against a lot of the other things. Wow, interesting. Okay, so we have a block from Spellcaller and a trade-off. And, to be quite frank with you, I kind of like starting to try and trade our resources a little bit here and there to be able to do some goods. But I'm not sure if that was the correct time or the right place. But
well, maybe he's just valuing Path a little higher there than the Spellcaller, which I could understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, a Tireless Tracker could be really scary.
Yeah, and we're definitely looking at some value of resources. It's possible that tryhard values, like you mentioned, this path way more than the spell caller, and to be able to not get that lightning bolt off the value with Teferi is extremely huge here. So that's another card down, and we're just looking at a card grind here, I think.
Oh yeah, now we're staring at a delay and a path, and I think at some point if he draws another land, we could see him just jam this Wasteland Strangler and start to try to book a couple damage here and there.
It's quite possible. I believe the path is still in exile, so we'll be able to use that to put back into the graveyard with the Wasteland Strangler. Not to mention, even delay is going to put something in exile to take with the Wasteland Strangler too.
Oh man, these BBEs have hit hot fire too. Like that time was a trophy.
Yeah, a trophy, and then we had Fatal Push the first time around, and neither one of these are going to do anything that KO wants, because here's this path here again. Teferi is really shining through right here at this moment. And like the delay ability, I wonder if Tryhard is going to get a little greedy and tap out here.
No, I don't think so. I think the way he's played, I really think we're going to see this Wasteland Strangler like I was talking about, and he'll play this untapped Hollow Fountain, leave up delay, and just this just seems fair. And now he's got a way to win.
Interesting, yeah. The greed side in me, in my mid-range ideal land, is to get max value on all of my cards. And I almost would just want to play tapped land past the turn to be able to get max value out of every single one of my cards. That's just the mid-range player in me, but who knows? Tryhards is the man right now, and he's running his way through it.
Right. This is why, we give you decks that doesn't take much thought. It's okay. We'll let Tryhards do the hard, big boy thinking. There's the K command. This is heads up. This is why the Batter Skull didn't come down too. That's a card definitely have to worry about. Not sure exactly the number of K commands in the list. I
believe we're on 3.
We are on 3. I'm staring at the list right now. Oof, that's a huge number.
After spending my week with KO in our duel fest, I learned he had 3 K commands, and yes, 3 is the maddest. Oh my goodness, here's another path. Someone call the some help out for KO here, because this is a path fest going on over here. This is not good for KO. He needs to draw some sort of discard spells to get into this hand. Man, and here comes the Batter Skull.
I think this is just showing the complexity and the power of Teferi, right? Like this card literally just having a passive ability, and Wizards giving us passive ability Planeswalkers out of War of the Spark, just changes everything, changes deck building, changes how you have to play against certain decks, and making decks like this plausible. Without it, delay is still just a C- card.
Yeah, very, very mopey card, a very shall we say, card. So it's definitely, Teferi definitely, upticks the value and certain people, players, and card value, shall we say.
Right, I agree. All right, so it's just a Gwaif. I think there's only 2 cards in KO's hand. This Gwaif not going to look very nice in the heart of this path unless there is an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize left in that hand, which I don't think so.
Actually, the complete blowout here would be a K command to destroy target artifact, discard a card. We still have 2 more left. That would be huge, but we don't have it. We're going to see a pass back.
Delay.
The delay is really going to be huge here to be able to stop the next play. So we're going to see a path on the Termaggoyf, and then the Germ Beats will soon follow.
Right, and I think it was very, very heads up for him not to take down the Teferi, knowing that a Bolt could just take out Teferi if he went that route. At this point, just slow and steady is going to win this race.
Yep. Each card for card that we can give up is going to be even better for Tryhards.
Yep, I think card selection is going to be very key for Tryhards, and at this point, Koi just wants card advantage, which
There's an interesting one, and something we'll notice to see earlier, if this had resolved, that there was a cycle land in the graveyard for us to get with this Renin 6.
The Tranquil Thicket.
Yeah, the Tranquil Thicket, which would allow us to get more card advantage. And as we slowly see in our top corner, we're going to see little tick marks going down on each one of these cards from the delay being taken off. But sadly, with Teferi out, there's really going to be an infinite amount of delay. Will just never happen.
Hup says, there's a Hup in the chat saying that delay is a very Hup card.
That is for sure, Hup. You are delaying anything that is good coming from that card. Our second Ren and 6 of the day, and we're going to probably get our Tranquil ticket back. Now, here's an interesting spot. If the tryhard floods out here, what happens?
Well, it doesn't matter, right? Like, this Barrow Skull is going to kill this Ren and 6.
Yes, that is true, unless we see a push. Well, we can't see anything with Teferi. Again, manpower Teferi.
Right.
Yeah, I still think, though, there is a potential for some card advantage to be taken up here from our mid-range mirror out of KO, because now we're just going to flood out. It's possible.
So my question is, do you just, like, take down this Teferi, because then Teferi goes to 4, and put another card in your hand? Because that's what I would do. Oh, I think that's what we're about to see.
Now, what would you like to bounce? Nothing?
No, nothing. There's no reason to bounce anything. But because the only thing that could take out... Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, baby.
It's not where we want to be when Jesus comes back. Send help.
So we've got Stoneforge Resistant coming down, and now our Sword of Pro Deck has showed up for the most part. Now we get to see tryhards play around Lightning Bolt with Teferi, and sadly we won't get to see an equip this turn, but that Germ is going to pick up this Sword of Fire and Ice, and we're just going to see tryhard go to town really hard.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Koi, I'm sending you all my energy, buddy. Let's get through this.
And we've got our cycle of the Tranquil ticket that we picked up from Ren and 6 to try and search for help. I don't know if the help's going to come. Someone sent an SOS out. I have no idea. Normally, I would say something like Bloodbraid Elf, but Teferi stops that. I would say, maybe something like K-Command, but, there's not much going on anymore for the K-Command to get its full value. So we're gonna see a Scavenging Ooze followed up by said Bloodbraid Elf, and we're gonna try and get to the board here for KO.
So I've got a question. Do you think it was correct to play this Bloodbraid Elf, or just leave up the Ooze to gain a little bit of life?
Unfortunately, I think we've got to try to get more to the board because this sword. Wow, are we gonna play this Title Scholar just to get some info first?
There's 0 cards in Koi's hand currently.
All right, so the thing that could have been done, however, was he could have just bounced the Scavenging Ooze after it got big. So
correct.
There wasn't much going on that route. Plus the fact that this sword is going to be huge here for this matchup.
Right, but if he bounces the Ooze, the Teferi goes to 2.
Yes, but again, you just mentioned this before that there are no cards in hand, correct?
Right, but that's the thing, right? Is John plays off the top of the deck pretty well, and we're gonna have to find some outs. I do think now with there's no damnation, period. That's gonna be scary.
Yeah, I really believe that at this point of the game that there's really no help for KO here. It's all in tryhard's favor, and there's the concession.
Yep. So I think the tryhard sideboard, I hate to say it, just looks like it was built to beat this deck. I mean, we have some amazing cards, like we have the new sword, and we have Plague Engineer, which is really good. I mean, and then Celestial Purge and even Champion. I mean, there's just so much for the tryhards.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot going on, and so far this has been a really fantastic matchup to watch, just the power of individual cards to be able to take over. Now, do you like taking out the never-ending question of the mid-range mirrors? Do you like taking out the Thoughtseize effects?
That always comes up, right? And I love how you put it like that. Do you take out your disruption? In this, I kind of don't think you can't, especially being on the play. I think you have to try to get those early Teferis, right?
So I think from KO's side, being that there's a little bit of counter spells, a little bit of card advantage, and some cards that are really hard for you to take care of. I think from KO's side, that discard is, shall we say, necessary. But from tryhard side, I don't think you need the extra discard. I don't think you need the Thoughtseize. I don't think you need the Tide Hollow Scullers as much. I think these are typically cards that you can go ahead and start cutting.
Well, it looks like we're actually seeing more Thoughtseize being brought in.
Oh yeah, we've noticed the Tide Hollow Scullers going down, and then the he's considering the Kaisel Freebooter, and the only reason for this is because they're not permanent types of discard. They're only temporary types, and with a bunch of removal, he's trying to figure out what's the right place here as far as to take out, because he doesn't want to take something from his opponent's hand just to get it right back. A lot of the effects going on here, delay, spell queller, tide hollow sculler, freebooter, are only all temporarily effects that can be easily taken care of by a push, a bolt, trophy, any of those fun things that's going on. So I think he's trying to value that out. And you also see kind of useless card in the innocence of Aether Vial popping on out of here, trying to get max value out of every single one of his cards.
Right, and one big one I really like, because I love Judge's Familiar. Love this card in Standard, loving this matchup, and this hand is gas.
Indeed. It's probably one of the better hands you could see come out. He's got a nice curve. He has a little bit of protection and even removal spells. So will we see we will not see any type of interaction as far as discard effects from KO to start off the game. So this will at least me suggest that there's probably more removal spells and a bunch of creatures coming out of KO's side.
Right, and this was the one thing I was worried and weary of, taking out any disruption on KO's side. Like, if he can't clear the path and, stop turn 3 Queller or turn 3 Teferi, or be able to eliminate that from the hand before it comes down, things are going to get really rough.
Yeah, very much so. And we're going to see a Peatlands come in, and our first Termaggoyf of round 2 of this match has shown up. And we'll likely see, do you like playing the Stoneforge Mystic on 2 or Path in here?
I kind of like just playing land pass, but that's just me.
Interesting. There's different ways to go about this at this particular point. It's just a matter of whether Tryhard wants to use his, and here we're going to see Tryhard using his life total as a resource here by casting the Stoneforge Mystic. A neat thing that we could have seen happen from KO's side is the hold on the discard effect to be able to catch whatever this may be. And I think Tryhard is trying to figure out which one of these is going to be the best at the moment and which one he really doesn't want to lose. Because if there is a discard spell, it's gone from the game. There's no recurring these artifacts.
Right. This is, like I said, this is going to be a roughie. I think this hand is extremely powerful against Jund. Mm-hmm. I think the Jund player is going to definitely have to have a lot of removal.
Yeah, a lot of something, because the bird beats are happening too. This is a Pro Tour winner right here, getting in for one.
Yep.
The bird beats are real.
That card put up so many numbers back in the Theros block. It was just so amazing. I'll never forget that card. And right here, it's just doing such a great job. We don't see it as much in Modern, especially since we have a Spirit version of it now that Spirits plays.
Indeed.
But it's still a strong card.
Very strong card. And at this point, it's even holding back those 3 K commands at the moment. So this is a very huge play here to have this Judge's Familiar. I think this was a smart choice for the deck. And we're going to see some beats by the Termaggoyf.
Yep. And I think at this point, we could just take the beats. Oh.
And we have a Lightning Bolt now on the Stoneforge Mystic, and sadly, this Judge's Familiar is not going to be able to save anything. And the moment we do decide to put it in the graveyard, we're even going to pump up the Termaggoyf. So I think that's what's happening here, is the Bolt to be able to put 2 more types in there, and now we have a larger Termaggoyf.
And this is what I was talking about just playing land past turn. I'm not sure how I feel about putting our Stoneforge in any danger this early. But because if we can just get to the next turn and be able to have a spell queller, things look really, really good, especially with the Familiar.
Yeah, and now we're in a very interesting spot of what spell is the correct one to cast here, Scott.
Oh, once again, I don't know if you do anything. I think you have to understand where you're at and know that you're not the beatdown, and a lot's going to depend on this queller.
Yeah, and it could possibly be that we even see a swing and pass back. Is that a possibility for KO?
That's very, very true. I mean, at this point, I think KO knows that he is on the board, and the tryhards can't really start swinging, and if he blocks, it opens things up widely. So there's just a lot for the tryhards to think about here as KO comes in with both the Ooze and the Goyf.
Correct, and we're going to see our first movement. The chicken game is over, and here's Path on the Termagoyf.
Yep, things are looking really interesting. Now we could see a Liliana come down. We could see anything come down here. Now that I mean, we have a delay, but is that going to be good enough?
Well, at the moment, it will be enough to stall things out, and we may even see just a swing on through and do nothing. We were, hoping to use this delay this turn, and I think we're going to get to it.
I don't think so. I think he's just going to let this go.
Interesting. Another scavenging ooze on our opponent's side for the tryhards, and again, as you mentioned, it's down and sticking. Nothing else to say about it. Does not using our mana that turn, is that going to be a problem?
I think so. I think at this point we're going to have a slew of spells or walkers to get back in this, and I'm just not sure if he's going to have time to look at the cards, seeing that he has very few ways to cantrip in the deck.
Yeah, I do believe that our mana is definitely being punished, not so much as like color-wise, but as far as taxed as our ability to play everything. I do like the fact that we can double delay this turn, which is really sweet because I believe KO is trying to set up his next turn to be able to do something huge by bluffing with this scavenging ooze.
Yeah, I just think at this point KO has played things very sharply, and I think the tryhards has played very sharp as well. It's just I don't think his hand has played out quite as well as he would have hoped.
I can agree. We're probably going to get to see this delay here. It's really a question of, is it going to be the K command or is it going to be the Bloodbraid Elf?
At this point, I think you let the K command go and you let them both go, right? Like what? I don't know. It's one of those things where what's going to matter?
And it's neat to see that, this Judge's Familiar is not going to be able to stop this K command either. We've got another Wooded Foothills, or is that a Stomping Ground sitting up there waiting for, some mana to be tapped.
What's scary, what if he does quell something here and it just gets bolted? So I think you have to, use the Judge's Familiar, let the K command resolve, and then figure if it's right to spell quell the elf or not, which I think is fine because the cascade triggers only. Well, no, they do. Well, they do cast it. That is correct. Never mind. So I don't know. This is one of those really nerve-wracking moments.
Yeah, this is one of the moments where Tryhards really wishes that one of these spells was a permanent style of a counter. Instead, we're just going to get the exile by the spell queller and cross our fingers.
Yep. I mean, this is the thing about Jund, right? Once he gets to this sweet spot where there's the bolt I was worried about.
Ooh, that was a huge turn point there. We had the float of the mana from KO into...
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Liliana herself is here, and let's scoop this one up and call that a day.
Let's burn for KO, because KO got in there. Came in hot.
Yeah, you're going to have to burn it up sometime, because that was a tight-played game by KO Diamond. Fantastically maneuvered around every individual point there that the Tryhards was trying to do, and it looks like Tryhards is going back into the tank, and we're going to see more of a foot in front of the other proactive approach. It looks like.
Since we're going on the play, I think it's fine to bring in the vials. I don't like vials on the draw a lot of times. They just become clunky, and once you draw that second one, you just start losing a lot of ground. And with K command being able to clear it up. But I don't know if I agree with taking out Judge's Familiar. That card did a lot of work and gave him way more turns than I think he would have had without it.
Indeed, it did do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'll give you that. So we're still trying to figure out whether our delays are good, and it's neat to see that not only did the vials come in, but Ariok Champion came in, and now the delays are out. So we are definitely putting one foot in front of the other and charging.
I will say... the Tryhards does have such a sweet deck, and there's a lot going on. And I think it's easy to just be a little, confused about how you want to play against Jund here. But the Tryhards definitely has played Jund before, knows what the deck's capable of. And I think he definitely stands a good chance of bringing this home if he can get a decent hand. And wow, this one is... oh, this is rough. I think you have to keep it, right? You have a curve and
yeah, I see no reason not to keep this hand. We have our Vial on 1. We can play Stoneforge on 2. Then we can champion out off of the Vial. This looks like a pretty fantastic, foot in front of the other hand that we were looking for.
But one thing, that's scary is our mana, right? Oof, and there's the Inquisition. I'm pretty sure 1 of 2 cards are leaving, and I think Teferi's going to be high on the list.
Teferi could be high on the list, but the thing we have to think about is there's no blue mana in sight, and you can't put a Teferi in off Vial.
That is true. And these other 2 creatures can be brought in Vial, and 1 can be played next turn. I don't know, just if he cannot find a quick way to deal with Teferi, though. If it comes down, things get really nasty. But once again, it depends on what's on the hand. If there's removal, if there's a trophy, even Abrupt Decay could be fine. So if that's where he's looking, I think he might be fine. Oh, and look, there's the blue mana.
Yeah, I think he kind of wanted a Hallowed Fountain there more than that Watering Grave. I do like KO's take of the Stoneforge Mystic. It's going to stop a turn from this turn and the eventual swords showing up. And it also could be another, a tale of what else is going on in KO's hand. KO is very tricky with his discard effects that I learned myself. He tends to pick what he really wants, and not so much by the complete shape of his hand. So it's very neat to see that it's trying hard to try to figure out exactly what KO has going on at the moment in his hand. And we're seeing wow, here's Teferi coming on down, and we're going to see particularly a bounce. Yep. And there we go.
And this is what I was worried about, right? This Teferi, we saw what it did in game 1. And now with this Renegade can come down and make things really rough too. It's just one of those things where this deck's a pseudo lock deck, and you have to pick your poison, what to take. And I really think Teferi is enemy number 1 in a lot of spots.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to see something have to happen here with Teferi, and so much that we're going to get a Scavenging Ooze put back down, and it looks like you're going to get we want the champion or the Renegade?
Probably the Renegade. I don't know. Oh, well.
So Tryhard is going for his 1 point of life.
I need to get Tryhard to teach me this deck. This deck does look sweet. It looks like it has a lot going for it. It reminds me of a lot of the Dead Guy Eld-isk decks. Just looks fantastic and fun.
Yes, this is a very, very intriguing and interesting deck. I see lots of flavor, lots of really nice things going on here. Now, a Purge is a very strong draw.
Yeah, this could deal with a Lily. This could deal with pretty much anything that becomes a worry effect. And once again, like I said, here's this Teferi slowly locking things down. And just, he has another turn to find a bolt and deal with it cleanly. Yeah. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen. And we have this other champion in hand. So, things are getting really scary.
Indeed. And the thing we have to ask ourselves is, our catch-up mechanism for Jund is Bloodbraid Elf. And right now, I believe we have 2 ways to stop Bloodbraid Elf at the moment.
That's true. And it's awesome to have Tryhards in the chat right now saying the reason I didn't play in the Renegade was because I can flash it in off a Bloodbraid Elf to counter the Cascade. That's very smart to be thinking about.
Yeah, and as we just mentioned, there's our second way of shutting down this Bloodbraid Elf. That catch-up mechanism is just not going to work for our friend KO here. And could we see a knockout coming real soon?
It's scary. I'm rooting for my boy KO, and it's just I'm looking, and things are just looking very scary. Right now, this Ooze is doing some work.
But I don't know if it's enough to really ask the question. So we're seeing an attack from the Ooze, and it's very likely that it's at Teferi. And Tryhards is valuing Teferi a lot here. So we're seeing the champion come in and try and block to keep this Teferi alive. Interesting, and we're going to have a Vial activation here. Bringing down the other champion. Are you ready? We're going to have I'm surprised we didn't see a double block. First strike on both, but I guess that gets blown out by some sort of removal spell.
Right, I think that was a heads-up play by the Tryhards. I think at this point, just playing safe into the chest is right where you want to be until you can get this Batter Skull down. But I mean, I don't think he has much to worry about. All right, we're
So-
gonna see some ooze activations.
Well, not with our red mana being put in, however.
Oh, wow! Not at the That's very interesting.
I'm actually very curious here. I do think. How big is this?
No.
Oh no! Oh no! Lily's coming down to wreck face. How big is this scavenging ooze right now? Is this a 3/3?
I think it's a 3/3, and it can technically just run away with the game unless the tryhards can find a timely creature to put in with this file. And now the real question is, do we tick up to 3 or do we leave it as B? Because like if it's 3, he's surveilling everything that's going on here, his sideboard, to see what he brought in.
Yeah, he's definitely going over his options here. Now, I really wonder if the tryhards saw the line that I was thinking of earlier and then missed his opportunity to put it in. With Urza Champion having first strike, if you put 2 of them in on top of the Scavenging Ooze, we had mentioned removal spell might do anything, but by golly, the Teferi will stop that removal from happening. So that was a clean double block.
That is true. You're correct.
I wonder if there was maybe I oops and passed our way through the ability to put the creature in, or because it was very weird to see the activation afterwards. So I definitely am curious as to see what's going to happen now. But now Lily is gone with the Celestial Purge, and we still have a Scavenging Ooze left over. So is this going to be enough?
I think so. I mean, I think Ooze can get there. I mean, now Teferi's going to be off the board. All we have is this Batterskull, which even if we find the land, just playing the Batterskull is just not going to be enough. And there's a Goyf.
Yeah, and Teferi is now gone. Bloodbraid Elves are free. Both the answers to both of them are gone. And a Goyf has shown up, and all we have left is this Batterskull. We're going to need a little more hard trying. Here we go with the Tidehouse Sculler, and we're going to
we have the Tar Pit, yep. So he can wait till he's putting a stop on the upkeep or the draw, so he can take whatever he needs. So if he might be able to call back in this game, but it's going to be hard in the face of this Goyf and this ever so hefty Scavenging Ooze boy.
Yeah, things are in a rock and a hard place, shall we say, for the tryhards. We're going to get to see the Tidehouse Colors show up here to see what's in the hand of KO, but I wonder if we're going to see, the hand and be like, this hand is too hard to beat. Is it possible we're going to see the scoop phase from the tryhards here once we look at our opponent's hand?
I'm not sure, but I think so. The tryhards just pointed out in chat that nothing had the first strike. I think the ability you're thinking of with the champion is it has protection from red and black, and it gains life. I don't think it does much else.
It's probably another champion that has first strike.
Oh, there's so many champions. I forget. Your small brain just hurts. It's okay. You need to take an aspirin and get a Snickers.
Well, we see a fantastic hand from KO. We had Bloodbraid Elf, removal spell, and it looked like another Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah, things are closing really, really fast. The door is definitely being closed. The lights are going out. I think KO is about to get the home run.
Yeah, and
I feel like a dance coming on.
Yeah, you got that ice dance coming because we've just taken the Tidehouse Scholar has taken the lightning bolt, and we're gonna see something really sweet coming down from KO here after he attacks with his 2 creatures.
Oh yeah, let's go! Bring in the big fatties.
Yeah, right. Maybe the biggest fatty is the People's Champion hiding in the chat. He is the real winner of our people here. He is the real champion.
Let's see what happens. This Esper delayed deck, I'm pretty sure when the tryhards figures out the numbers and stuff, this deck's gonna be sweet. I definitely will be trying to pilot this beautiful pile.
Yeah, this is definitely a sweet deck, a masterpiece waiting to be solved, shall we say?
Yeah, I've watched every week, even it's just amazing what some of the decks that everybody's bringing, and we saw Davius earlier with his 5-color Mizzet deck, and we're just seeing all these interesting decks, and it's not like we're not playing against real decks either. Like look at this matchup here, the tryhards. It's not like he's getting blown out. He's actually keeping up with one of the top tier decks in the format.
Mm-hmm. And we're definitely seeing what we had mentioned earlier. With all these different decks, is there's just a lot of sprinkles of goodness. Uh,
The
there's
cupcakes
some.
are here, boys and
Yes,
girls.
the cupcakes have arrived, and these decks are really sweet. There's lots of neat designs going on, and the neat thing is, as you mentioned here before, these goodness decks that, shall we say, that exist in this league are not getting run over because the goodness doesn't extend just to the deck; it extends to the player, and we get to see some really strong players behind all these sweet decks. This league has been fantastic at showcasing sweet decks along with showcasing some very strong technical play by some of our players here.
Oh, I do agree. I mean, I'm glad you're talking about some players because you can't include yourself with that. But enough about how bad you are at Magic. Let's talk about if there's a K command, this game the door is gone.
Yeah, it's knocking down hard. Like, it's hopeful that, the door actually hits you on the way out.
Oh, sad panda.
Sad Jigglypuff, I believe, is the correct answer for that one for you.
You're right. All right. So we're seeing one of the scavenging ooze staying home.
Interesting there. However, it's possible we're trying to figure out what we want to pump up with the scavenging oozes, and we're gonna have a swing in with Goif and the Skoos.
Yep. We do have to be careful of what we eat because we can shrink our Goif and things can get a little odd. But I don't think he's too worried about it. I think he has everything calculated pretty well here.
Yeah, indeed. We're gonna see a very calculated attack here by KO, and with no more cards left, and it looks like 2 more in KO's hand, one of them being the ever-present Bloodbraid Elf. Things are looking kind of scary here.
I agree. But I think it's like, it could be land BBE, but I doubt it. I think he wanted to make sure when he attacked that he would put something through or at least got a trade-off. I mean, he also could have a K command and just waiting for a very good time, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Ooh. So, poor
Man.
tryhard. Yeah.
It's time to throw back our arms for Team Ice and burn
no. Oh, no.
We're clawing back in, baby. We're here. You better fear us. The flame is gone.
Oh, someone put some fire on that ice player right there.
No need. Ice is not going to be melting anytime soon. Ice has won the last 4 matches here. We were down quite a bit, but as I press this button here, this season is starting to cool down and even out and look to be more like that parity that we were mentioning a little bit earlier ago. I am really excited about this.
Oh,
Indeed.
The fall is here. The fall of the flame. Get ready. There's a new name in town. It's Ice.
Hopefully, we won't be able to see Ice win this next round because it's just not fair that you can win 5 in a row unless your name is Michael Goldenberg, to be quite frank with you.
And then it's 9 in a row. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, he's our fearless leader. We must follow his example.
Exactly.
We must go to Camelot with him.
Oh my gosh, just put everyone around the round table and meet up with Michael Goldenberg.
Sure. I will assume that role. If we end up as a team winning the next 9 matches straight from Team Ice, man, I don't know how Team Fire could recover from that burn. I really don't know.
Ooh.
It's all right. We'll send y'all a Christmas card from the Enchanted Forest of Iceland.
Oh man, this is too hot for me to handle at the moment. However, I will say that somewhere along the line, I'm gonna have to put my foot down and stop all this from happening.
Well, before that, we just want to remind everybody to check out the charities that we're supporting, both with information and with money. Team Fire, the team that just lost a bunch of matches in a row, is supporting A21, which is working to abolish slavery worldwide. And Team Ice is working with the Cancer Research Institute to get rid of cancer. So both great charities, both are worthy of your money. Please check them out, which you can easily do through this thing called Google. Or there's a link right below us, and you can just click it, and you go straight to their page. Or you can just donate straight to our site, and then the winning team gets that money. or you can just subscribe to this channel, and that money goes to the winning team's charity. So definitely support those two great causes.
Yeah, indeed. The one thing I do want to say, however, is currently at the rate things are going, I would highly suggest going straight to the sites so that we can abolish slavery, sex trafficking, and all the things of that same flavor. Because ICE is coming and winter is almost here, and I need that money to go to A21 more than I do cancer, fortunately. So if you guys can, we would definitely appreciate any help towards those great charities, whether it be cancer or whether it be the A21, in any of the forms that was definitely suggested above. Fantastic places to be sending any of your money to. Again, stopping sex trafficking, stopping slavery, those are one and the same. It's worldwide. Whether you don't see it happening, it is definitely happening. Children are getting abducted daily. Men and women are getting taken over daily. People are forced to do things they don't want to do daily. And then cancer is an ever-present thing. It is always here. We can't get rid of it right now. So the more that you can help to support that would be huge. But Mike, what's next on the dock?
Well, real quick, both of these charities are working to help the health and quality of human life. And I think that is the important thing, in that it's 2019. Every human deserves quality of life. So definitely check out those charities. But next up on the docket, we have you're playing, Ryan.
Oh, boy.
You are playing against Cyrus Corman Gill. And I don't like your odds here, just because you are playing against a player who just took down the Legacy GP. I don't know. What do you have to say to yourself to pump yourself up here?
Well, I have to say that I have a strong player in front of me, and I believe I can do it. I have the confidence to be able to take down anyone here in the league. I am not afraid of you either, nor am I afraid of the Murloc. So we can definitely release that thing out of his rabbit hole, wherever he came from. I'm not afraid of that, and I think that this next match is going to be one of the the matches to turn the tide. Whoever knows, because I'm not giving in here. I'm going to put forth the best effort that I can, and I'm going to put my foot down. I'm done with this ice winning.
I'm really excited to see what you got going on. We're going to have a quick break, and then we'll have the forecast of Ryan. We'll see you in just a minute.
Welcome. We have the forecast of not Doom. However, we're going to hope it's going to be the Doom of Cyrus Corman Gill this time around, bringing in Amulet Titan. This is the bread and butter for Team Ice. It's got your Titans, it's got your Amulets, it's got your sweet lands, and it searches for whatever it feels like. This is what I would say a forecast of easiness for Amulet Titan. This is one hard matchup for me. Me being on Urza Thopter, that is. This is going to be a very interesting match. We're going to want to see a couple key cards from both sides. We're definitely going to want to see from the Amulet Titan side a quick clock. We don't want to durdle around. because the longer that we doodle around, the easier it's going to be for me to be able to come back into the game. After that, on my side, some key cards we definitely want to see is a quick clock. The soonest I can get out, my combo is going to be on turn 3, and we're going to hope to hit that every single time. After that, the other couple cards that we want to keep an eye out for, Ensnaring Bridge. It's going to stop that Titan from being able to swing. That is huge game 1, and it's going to be even huge game 2 when we get to bring in this out of the sideboard, the Dampening Sphere. Some other interesting cards to see from the Titan side, you're going to get to see the Force of Vigor along with the couple, shall we say, counter spells that might even come in. But the biggie is going to be the extra engineered explosives that are going to come out of the side potential for the Amulet Titan side. This is going to be a very back and forth matchup if there is no fast combos going on. So it'll be interesting to see who gets the speed in this matchup. Here we go to the next round.
I am so excited to have Amulet Titan on a match I get to talk about. Unfortunately, we get to see this guy's face. Who invited him? Murloc, who invited this Viz Quiz fella here?
I mean, everybody needs someone to hate, so I mean, it makes sense.
We have a quick mulligan from Ryan, but he looks like he has an Ensnaring Bridge, Galvanic Blast, Urza hand, which is pretty interesting. I'm going to share the deck lists here.
Yeah, knowledge is power,
chat.
folks. Definitely check out those lists so you can keep up with what's going on and what numbers and how bad Ryan is playing his deck. I mean, trying to play his deck. Send help.
So, he mulliganed. Oh, he mulliganed that hand. That's interesting. I actually liked that hand. It had the bridge to stop Titan. It had that Galvanic Blast to stop an early Secure Tribe Scout or an Azusa. Like, I didn't think it was a great hand, but I thought it was a fine. I thought that was actually a fine 6. Going to 5 seems a little rough here. I guess he's just trying to. I guess he's approaching this matchup where he's just trying to combo out quickly. We can see that with this hand with a turn 1 Astrolabe, a turn 2 Engineer. He could combo. Well, he mulled to 4. Yeah, I looked away real quick. Yeah, I don't know why he mulliganed that hand that just had Bridge, Galvanic Blast, and Urza. What do you think?
I'm going to have to agree with you. I think this was loose coming down this far. I think this hand's fine. We definitely have to find another land, but he can sack the Astrolabe, go get a bridge. But like you said, I think his hand was fine. I don't know if he overthought the hand or if he was looking for a key piece, like to maybe just try a combo. But oh, that face! I'm sorry, I'm blinded. But I think he can pull it off. I think this hand is still super strong. Definitely just needs one land, and he's going to get to bobble and look.
Yeah, I mean, if he hits that other land, he's doing pretty well here. Reveals. Summoner's Pact. Okay.
Ooh,
So
okay.
coming from Cyrus's side, turn 1 Tolaria West means he's probably got like a bounce land in hand, and he's looking to do something like a turn 3 Azusa here.
Right.
So what's he doing? Okay, so he's using a Scout instead of an Azusa, so a turn 2 Scout. So he's going to have 2, 4, 5 mana next turn. So without another ramp spell, he's actually still not going to be able to... Another ramp spell, which would be an Amulet and Azusa, he's still not going to be able to Titan next turn.
So what if a second Amulet there done it?
Not that turn, but next turn, if he's got another Amulet, if he's got Amulet in hand, we know about the Summoner's Pact, Ryan's going to be in for a world of hurt because Cyrus can tap the Tolaria West, play the other Amulet, flash the Secure Tribe Scout, bounce that Simic Growth Chamber, get 2 4 mana, return the Simic Growth Chamber to hand, then play his land for turn, end with 8 mana, which is more than enough to cast that Summoner's Pact Prime Time. And with 2 Amulets in play, that means he can swing for 20.
Yeah, that's the pain train right there, and I want to jump on that train real fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's going to happen, and here's the thing though.
He's
Ryan's
showing the 3 cards he's interested in, which was Sword of the Meek to combo, Pithing Needle to stop Slayer's Stronghold or Tolaria West, and Ensnaring Bridge. I think Ensnaring Bridge is the pick here. It forces Cyrus to have to use one of his only mainboard engineered explosives to deal with that. Otherwise, he just can't really win. Other than maybe a ballista would be his only way of winning through that.
Correct, and I'm not sure if he would have time and if the ballista could get big enough over the Thopter Foundry combo, because I mean, it won't take him long to find another half.
Not at all. I think my strategy here from Ryan, again, I'm still not sure why he mulliganed that hand with the Ensnaring Bridge, because if he had dropped an Ensnaring Bridge and then cast Pithing Needle on Engineered Explosives, he pretty much guaranteed a victory.
He might have went to a poor high school. Let's not judge him too hard.
So I want to remind people, Murloc and Ryan are teammates in real life, and they are the perfect example of frenemy. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Chatting with these guys in the pre-show has been amazing. The amount of trash talk, the amount of humor, the amount of just appreciation these two gentlemen have for absolutely demolishing one another is just something that I've been appreciating.
It's all about, pushing people to go farther, right? Sometimes if you have fun with it and you just go, who knows what'll come out of it. I mean, he's a great guy. Love to play against him. Love watching him lose. One day I'm going to learn him how to magic. But he did find another land. But now he is without a goblin. So he better start counting his sheep, because things could end really quick if Cyrus finds the right cards. We know he has a way to find the Titan.
He's got we know about the Simic Growth Chamber, and
Correct.
We know about the Summoner's Pact. So we know that he can attack with Prime Time this turn. He can flash in a Secure Tribe Scout, which is the correct order to do it in, because if he only has one bounce land, that way he doesn't miss his land drop. Otherwise, if he played the land drop with the Simic Growth Chamber, if Ryan had like a Fatal Push or something, he could kill the Secure Tribe Scout and stop Cyrus from using that bounce land if he was limited to one. So he's just giving less information by doing this correctly. So we have the full 6 mana here. Well, he's got 2 Simic Growth Chambers. Okay, so it didn't even matter. But here's the Prime Time. Doesn't even need to pact for it. He can just get Slayer Stronghold and Boros Garrison, and he can swing for 8 right now. Or he can set himself up. I think what I would be interested in doing right there is getting the Blue Pact, a Pact of Negation, setting myself up there, because the only reasonable thing he could lose to at this point would be an Urza.
Right, which Ryan does in fact have in hand, and is just sitting here praying for a land to see if he can claw his way back into this game, or maybe find another bridge if he's playing 2.
So we see a Woodland Grove and a Simic Growth Chamber as a second grab. So that tells me that Cyrus has a Teleria West in his hand. Oh, and he can grab the Pact of Negation right now that I was mentioning. There we go.
There it is.
Pact of Negation and Summoner's Pact in hand with a lethal threat on board already. This game is over. That
might be a foresty little boy, but he's bringing the frost today.
There is nothing. Ryan can't even cast Urza. He doesn't have enough mana. I guess he could crack the Chromatic Star, try to hit a land to cast Urza, but Urza just gets countered. Cyrus has more than enough mana to pay for it, and then after he pays for the Pact, he can still swing in with a Prime Time, give it double strike with Sun Home, and win the game.
Yeah, things are closing really fast, and I don't think Ryan's going to see another turn. I think this is where Cyrus has the advantage. Amulet is a very scary deck. It has so much protection for itself. It has ways to set up. And if you are not ready for turn by turn, you're just going to lose to it.
Absolutely. So what are you expecting? What are you expecting for Ryan to bring in from his sideboard here?
I think we're going to see the hand disruption. I think we're going to see the dampening spear. I don't know about the Vraska. That seems odd, because a lot of times by the time that comes down, it's just going to be too late in this matchup, and it can really only kill Amulet.
It kills Amulet. It also kills an Engineered Explosives or a Walking Ballista, which is ways that Ryan can lose if he has bridge out. So if he's anticipating cards that Cyrus might be bringing in, Cyrus is definitely going to be bringing in the two engineered explosives in his sideboard. He's going to consider the Tormod's Crypt as just a way to stop. You have a little bit of graveyard hate. He's definitely bringing in the Reclamation Sage, and he's probably going to bring in some Path to Exiles to deal with Urza. I don't even know if he needs them, though, since he also has Force of Vigors, which are extra hate cards. I think the game, Ryan's best chance to win in this particular matchup, which I think this matchup is pretty even, especially with Cyrus's build that isn't running something like Karn, the Great Creator, and has no abrades. Ryan's highest win rate percentage, I think, was game 1 when Cyrus had one answer for Ensnaring Bridge. Just one.
So, how do you feel about Ceremoni's rejection in this matchup? If you're worried about like a Walking Ballista coming in or something like that, do you think that card has a high chance of bringing it in?
I don't like Ceremonious Rejection against Amulet Titan. Amulet is not going to be the card that kills you. I think it's easier unless your deck is built and able to attack Amulet Titan's mana base. You're gonna be like a Jund with a Fulminator Mage, Blue Moon with Blood Moon, something like that, or Blue White Control with a Field of Ruin. If you can't attack their mana base, I don't think it's really worth attacking the Amulet. In that case, I think you're just better off trying to get rid of the Titans themselves if you can, or just be faster.
Right. I can see that.
Ooh.
Also, is Cyrus playing? He's not playing a Field of the Dead, is he?
He's playing a Field of the Dead in the sideboard.
Okay.
Which is, I don't think it's decent in this matchup at all. Especially Urza Thopter can just go so wide. You're often going to be considering Engineered Explosives on 0 just to get rid of the Thopters if you just need to buy a turn.
This hand looks good.
Yeah.
You just put back the star, right?
This is where Astrolab is so darn good. Just a turn 1 cycler that is on point. It's the reason why I've loved Mishra's Bauble for so long, because it's a 0 mana cantrip with some upside. With Tarmogoyf decks, it helps trigger Delirium. With Delve decks, it helps trigger Delve. But Astrolabe does the same exact thing. It costs a mana, but it filters Ryan's draw here. He's able to cast that red mana for Goblin Engineer right now.
Right. So from what I'm seeing here, this match can go either way. Like, they both have a very decent start. Ryan has the combo in hand. Also has a way to go get this bridge.
Mm-hmm. I think bridge is more important than the combo.
I agree 100%.
Because you want the Reclamation Sage that Cyrus has the capacity to get. You want that to hit the less important piece. And if you have the combo ready, then the bridge is the less important piece. If you say, hey, bridge, answer this or you die. Okay, answered it. Okay, now I combo, answer this or you die. Well, Amulet Titan only has so many answers unless that answer is Engineered Explosives. So, which Cyrus will have access to 3 of post-board here.
Yeah, and if Ryan can keep this Goblin Engineer on the board, though, things get really weird, right? Because he can bring the artifacts back and things. This card is just super neat. Like, I never thought Welder needed an upgrade.
It got a huge upgrade with that free put something into the graveyard ability. A Chromatic Star is also really, really good. I'm glad that Urza players are finally adopting that old Tron tech of just using more 1-mana cyclers. This is really just like a 1-mana cycle deck, right?
Right, and like you just net here, like Goblin Engineer says, hey, I'm going to throw this garbage away, I'm going to bring back this beautifulness, I'm just going to make you deal with me, but, we got a Tolarian West being cycled here, and there's the EE we're talking about and how important it was going to be in this matchup.
So Engineered Explosives on 2 stops Thopter Foundry and Goblin Engineer. Engineered Explosives on 3 stops the bridge.
Right. So now, is this one of those times where he might have to whir for a needle?
I think a Pithing Needle answering the EE is huge, because then you force your opponent to Rexage the Pithing Needle, and then you you basically just say, okay, I dealt with that. Now you have to deal still with the next threat, which is the bridge or the Thopter Foundry or the Sword of the Meek.
Also, is there a bog in Cyrus's deck?
I can check.
There is.
Main board, Bajuka Bog. Yes. Oh, so I guess I said consider Tormod script. Yeah, don't bring in Tormod script to get the main board Bajuka Bog.
Because that seems very important in this matchup as well.
If especially like right now, if he had it right now, that would have been pretty good. Just getting rid of that bridge.
I agree, and that's what like when you look at Amulet, your initial thought is, oh, this is just a big ramp deck, and you're just jamming time and trying to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this huge toolbox deck that gets to do so many cool things. And a major thing I want to talk about that I'm just looking at his list for the first time is the Ramanov Excavator in his sideboard is super sweet tech.
Yes. Ramanov Excavator does a lot of really neat things, such as rebuying gemstone mines is a really tiny little interaction. Rebuying Toleria Wests is a real fun one. And of course, rebuying lands that have been destroyed by things like Assassin's Trophy, Field of Ruin, or Fulminator Mage, or just the only hope you have playing against Ponza.
Yep. Could we see the needle here? That would be huge.
You can't cast it at the moment.
1, 2. Oh yeah, you're right.
He's got
100%.
blue.
1, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so we're gonna get this bridge back at the price of the star, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Nice little interaction here. So you spent 1 mana on that star. It draws you a card, and that it helps you enable a really sweet synergy. That's just a really, really great interaction.
Oh, wow.
So I guess that's one way to win a game really quickly.
Yeah, so my ongoing joke with Ryan is he's one of the best Magic players I've ever seen in my life, but he can't win a coin toss. If me and him tossed a coin 100 times and I said heads 100 times, he would lose 98 of the times. His luck is so fantastically bad, and I love it. But here's this one of those things where the deck, oh man, it has so much to it too. These are quite essentially both toolbox decks.
Mm-hmm.
But he has to. He definitely has the needle. Oh no.
It's over. So Cyrus's only out there was with the construct trigger on the stack to path. He had to path right when the construct trigger was on the stack. Had to path Urza, but we're not even sure if he brought the path in because the only real hits that path gets is Urza. Everything else doesn't matter. Goblin Engineer you can blow right by, but Urza is pretty big deal.
I agree with you. It's just huge to look at, and you gotta always remember is when you bring something in, it has to have at least a 20 to 45% impact. If you're bringing it just for one thing, things can get really muddled. You draw the card, sits in your hand, and you really need it to be something else. Things can turn into a toilet bowl real fast.
Absolutely. Against both of these decks are able to goldfish pretty efficiently, which is something I think that's important in Modern. I think the time of dirtling around and playing really, really slow decks that just generate a lot of value but don't do anything is over. We saw earlier DaviusMinimus with the 5-color Mizzet deck is probably the closest we're going to see to those value town-centric decks. But that value town card comes with a 6/6 flyer, which ends a game in 3 punches.
But when you're playing cards like Teferi and you're just playing cards like Renin 6, your deck, is it really a do-nothing deck? Or is it just that, hey, I have all these powerful cards and I can go fishing at any time and let's see what my little hook brings back?
Absolutely. So we see Cyrus mold to 5 here. Cavern of Souls naming Shaman is not a powerful start to what he wants to do here. Ryan had a couple different options here.
A lot of times when you see your tiny opponent mulligan to 5 and they keep 5, it's usually land, Amulet, and then they're just praying for a bounce land or a way to tutor up their Titan. That's where my experiences have been over the last couple weeks. I had something like that happen to me at the Open. So yeah,
Yep.
that deck mulligans very strongly.
Yes, Amulet doesn't need that many resources to be able to win a game, because it's able to work so well with the card advantage. It's inherently built within the bounce lands, or just prime time. You can have a really bad mull, but if you just have like an Amulet, uh, a bounce land, a regular land, and a scout, and you draw into a Titan, you can still Titan turn 3 pretty quickly, pretty regularly. In prime time, when he lands, is going in with an Amulet out, is going to get you 4 more cards right into play.
Yeah, it's a definitely a powerhouse. I mean, it's always been a big hit when it's in standard. It's always seen play in modern. I mean, it's so strong that I think it's even banned in EDH.
It is banned in EDH. I think that has more to do with the amount of cards available in the EDH pool. I mean, just can you just it'd be in every single deck. Just now I have Dark Depths. Now I have all
Right.
those really unfair lands that do prison effects type style. I don't think people wanted a card that could tutor 2 of those at a time.
Right. Primetime's just an interestingly well-designed card. I've always enjoyed watching the card. I love when Wizards makes Titan-esque sets in
Yes.
new sets. It's always fun.
My favorite standard block, not because it was the best standard block, was when the Titans were legal for so long. I ran so many different Titan decks just because I could, and I just think 6 mana for a 6/6 with upside is always fun to play.
All right. Yeah, I loved Ice Titan, but
Yep.
I think we're about to see an Urza here very soon. I don't think this turn, but let's see what Ryan's thinking. I mean, he could just jam this Goblin Engineer, but I think he has other plans.
He's whirring. If he whirs for 1 with calling Needle, this is more than
Oh,
1, then so he could just stop Secure Tribe Scout, right? So Secure Tribe Scout's effect. But whirring for 2 is grabbing a Damping Sphere.
oh, that's scary.
Yep.
You're,
So
you're
Damping
correct.
Sphere is really good against Amulet Titan because it hits multiple ends. Amulet Titan likes casting multiple spells per turn. When you cast Pact and Titan under a Damping Sphere, now that costs 7 instead of 6. That's the minor part that affects Amulet Titan. The big thing is all those bounce lands now tap for colorless mana, a single colorless mana.
Shaman. All right. So like, Azuz is a shaman, correct?
Azusa is a monk.
Interesting there, because I think that would be one of the big hits is trying to find Azusa, but I guess lack of lands would stop that as well.
So I'm looking up Reclamation Sage, which is an elf
It's a shaman.
something. Okay,
It
so
is in fact a
Shaman
shaman.
hits Reclamation Sage and Secure a Tribe. So Cyrus recognizing that the best thing he can do with Cavern is hoping he draws into a Rec Sage.
Oh, and here comes Urza. Oh man, come on, Cyrus, get out your crowbar and pry open this door. Oh man, this is looking scary.
Yep. It's not quite over,
Right, but
only
he can
because of mana
cast.
restrictions here.
Yeah, that is true. Gotta remember the old wet ball goes in both ways.
Mm-hmm. Because of that Damping Sphere, Ryan cannot cast all of his spells this turn.
I'll learn the math one day, I promise, dude. Maybe you can teach me what 1 + 1 is after the stream.
Wait, it's not. It's a 1 + 1 plus. It's 1 + 2 + 3 + 4 plus. Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Well,
Damping
there it
Sphere
is.
by itself. Oh, that was.
Oh man,
Does
I
this
think
mean
we
we
need
have
a
to
moment
bring?
of silence.
Do we have to bring him back?
I mean, we could leave him in exile. I'm
All
okay with
right,
that.
we'll bring him back.
Are you a hacker in the Matrix? Because I don't like it. I don't think that happened. This isn't real life.
Can we just? Yes.
A week that was absolutely dominated by Team Fire, starting 3-0. Team Ice rallied back to make it 3-3. 4-3, and now it is all tied up thanks to Ryan winning right there. So wonderful, wonderful job. Still don't like you right now for beating Amulet Titan. Still don't like you right now because you just Team
There's
Fire.
a glitch in the Matrix. Mike, make it gone.
I think I saw a little bit of a deja vu moment, shall we say? Okay. And I think I was like, if I can win, the week before, I could win this week too. So why don't we just try and do that? And there's your glitch in the Matrix, Mr. Noble Murloc.
So that means you are 7-2 right now, Ryan. Is that what that means?
That is what that means. Thankfully, I'm 7-2. Like I'm quite surprised at the record on my own. It's fantastic that I'm able to handle and keep up with a lot of these fantastic players here. Like Cyrus Cormangill is a fantastic player. I got to beat him this weekend in GP Atlanta where he won that event.
Oh, you beat him there too?
I didn't beat him there. No,
okay,
I sat next to him a couple times. Great guy. If you ever get a chance to meet him, great guy. And I'm so glad that he won that event. If it wasn't, like one of us streamers that didn't win that event, I'm glad that it is a Team Ice member, unfortunately, that won that event. So I am happy to say that, that was, I think, not a super favorable matchup for me. I think you kind of think it's a little even. But the version that Cyrus was on, I think, is more even. If Cyrus was on the version that Francisco has been running for a while, and the version that I brought to the IQ that I went to recently, which is Amulet Titan with Karn, the Great Creator, and a red splash for a braid, I think that matchup is much better. Yeah, that sounds absolutely tough and very hard to do, and I'm very glad that I'm able to keep a positive record in my head full of champions, and a sea full of them. Really, they're just sprinkled all over the place. That I'm capable of doing that. Yeah, sprinkle it everywhere. And by the way, we have to get a victory for Team Fire because, quite frankly, this Team Fire is better than Team Ice. So
we'll see. We'll see. To be seen. As of right now in the league, we are, because Team Ice won 26-24 in Season 1, and Team Fire is up 20-18. That means we are perfectly tied overall right now.
Could we see a playoff week if we go tied here?
Yeah, what now, here's an interesting case. If we do end up tied, do we take the top 2 people from each league and send them at each other?
So that'd be me against either you or YamaKiller, right?
That's what it sounds like.
So we are 44. I just had to type it out. I didn't feel like thinking. We are 44-44 right now.
Right this second.
Out of 100 total matches that will be played in the Modern Streamers League, we are 44-44. At this particular snapshot, thanks to Ryan's win right there, we are 44-44.
This is fantastic.
This is parity. This is equality. This is 2 teams with great talent playing really, really great Magic back and forth. We do have more. I did mention YamaKiller, Gal Schlesinger. Yeah, I said that correctly. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. Against GhostxEmpire, will be in round 4. The next match coming up, Ryan will return to the commentator seat. So we will have that matchup coming up. someone who's 7-1 right now, and YamaKiller against GhostxEmpire, who also has a fantastic record. And the last match of the night, we're going to have Susurus on his prison deck against PuntThenWhine on Amulet Titan to see some more Amulet Titan action. So that is the rounds we have coming up. Excited to have them. We're going to have a small break, the forecast of doom, and then right back into some modern action. Welcome back to the Forecast of Doom. We have a real fun one right here with GhostxEmpire on Oops, All Goblins against YamaKiller's Hardened Scales. YamaKiller's been doing really, really well with Hardened Scales, and it's great seeing that deck do well because there's so much math involved. It's always fun to see someone thinking really, really hard. The key cards in this particular matchup are really game one. This is a race. There's not too much interaction on either player's main board, so we're going to see who can be faster. Game one, I'm favoring Hardened Scales for that very reason. But then we look at sideboards. GhostxEmpire has a sideboard of legends with Abrades, Plague Engineer, and it looks like he has even more removal there as well. But the Plague Engineer and Abrades is honestly enough here. Plague Engineer stops a ton and kills a ton of YamaKiller's threats, while also completely negating the Thopters that you can combine with Hangerback Walker and a Ravager to get really big, really fast. Stopping that is huge, while a Braid is just extra removal that hits everything except for Hardened Scales in the entire deck. This looks like it's going to be a fun one. This Oops Goblin deck, I've seen in my opinion, it's wildly inconsistent, but when it does what it's trying to do, it looks kind of legacy-like, kind of unfair, especially with like a Warren Instigator just going off with that double strike trigger. That is my forecast. I think Scales is favored game one. I think Oops All Goblins is favored games 2 and 3. But let's see how it all plays out.
Well, welcome back to our second to final round. We've got a goodie here. We've got our Tribal Goblins deck against our Tribal Construct deck for the most part. I am super excited to see how this one plays out. This could be over before you blink, Scott.
Oh my gosh, this hand is absurd.
Indeed, I will tell you one thing that is pretty exciting here is the fact that this hand is going to go so fast. It's 0 to 60 ain't going to go off. I think we're going to see it next turn.
Right, because look, I mean, we found a Inkmoth Nexus. We have 2 Walking Blisses. I'm pretty sure he wishes one of them was a Ravager, but I mean, it doesn't even matter. We have Ancient Stirrings, also double Welling Jar. This hand is just very, very impressive.
And then our first turn from the Upsal Goblin is the Goblin of Crater Maker. So this one, I think, destroys a colorless permanent, if I'm correct.
It does. This thing can, in fact, kill old Eugene if he wants to. Anything from a Welling Jar to a Eugene, so pick your poison. Anything colorless is out of here.
All the way down to the Spaghetti Monster.
Yep, it can also kill a big flying Spaghetti Queen.
Does this beat the squirrels? We have to know. Is one Goblin better than the 15 squirrels?
No comment. Ask
comment.
Paulo. He can tell you.
Well, with that being said, we have a Walking Ballista played by YamaKiller, and then we're going to start seeing some more Goblins come out. Our first interactive play is going to be the Walking Ballista taking down the Scourge Prospector and just slow down some mana. And then where are we headed from here? What's our next line?
I guess it really depends on what's going off with the Ancient Stirrings here, but I think the Goblin... I mean, it's important to know there's only 2 cards in GhostxEmpire's hand with 1. So basically, technically 3 cards since we have the Cycle Land.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting to try and figure out who might actually be the beatdown here. Because it kind of looks like the Goblins deck is the beatdown here. Surprisingly, I don't see any attacks from this Walking Ballista the turn before. I don't see any aggressive patterns coming out from YamaKiller at the moment. I do know the deck can turn 0 to 60 really fast, so I'm curious to see how YamaKiller is going to approach this matchup.
Right, yeah, and Yama knows this deck inside and out. He has played it for a very long time. He's played it when it was, not as strong due to the format being hostile. And now with the deck just primes to make such a comeback, I think he knows where he needs to be. But playing against Goblins has always been one of those decks that, it doesn't look great on paper, but when it comes down, next thing you know is you're fighting a horde of Goblins and you're dead.
Yeah, and they can just come from the middle of nowhere with this Aether Vial. Speaking of which, welcome to Aether Vial number 2. And I believe we're down to 1 card left for Ghost Empire.
Right, so things are looking really weird. I think that his best draw would be a Trash Master.
Yeah, I think the Trash Master out, and then now things have just completely changed. This Arcbound Ravager could have the potential to, shall we say, wipe this board out from the Goblin side.
Yeah, and look at his card selection. I mean, even the Worker's beautiful here.
Oh, very much so. We still have the mana lift up for the Crater Maker to kind of put a wrench into the plan, shall we say. But how do we sequence this? Are we going to start out with the Ravager, or are we going to go below the Worker first? What's our first line here?
I'm not sure. That there's so much math that's about to happen. I think we could see... I think it's got to be Ravager, right?
Well, Yama has gone with the Worker first, and he's going to put his deeds in. I might think we will see a pass the turn. I think we're going to see Ravager probably come down later and do a whole lot of work there, more than we will this next coming turn. And we've got to create another Hangerback token here.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? Is with this Hangerback, it's going to be able to go so far, and it's going to be able to block all these Goblins. I do think it is one thing to be wary of is the new Goblin from Modern Horizons. I can't remember the name one. I think it's Sling Gang Commander that can just sack Goblins and start,
throwing them wherever they want, right?
Yeah, it just becomes a gain and drain. It becomes just like, well, how do I beat this?
Very much so. Goblin Ringleader showed up to the party, and I think he brought his little friends with him. If I'm correct, did we hit 3 lands there?
I think so. There's only 2 cards in hand, so it's not looking very well from the Gabo side of things.
Yeah, small tilt there with the 4-land hit. So from here, we're going to have to find our way back into this with the 2 cards that we have. And YamaKiller looks to be in a strong spot at the moment. We still have the Crater Maker still up, ready to do its wrench in the plan. But with the next draw step of Steel Overseer, that wrench might need to be fired here real soon.
Yep, I mean, we've come to the spot where YamaKiller, and he's hard to read. He's always cool, calm, and collective. And I'm not sure you want to be on the other side of the field with him alone, much less with this deck with 150 million things going on. And yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I really did like there was him testing the Crater Maker plays by tapping the Hangerback Walker to be like, all right, are you ready to take my Hangerback Walker here? Yes, no, maybe. And then he finally jammed down the Ravager, and it was just over from there. So we're going to see a little bit of sideboarding here from YamaKiller's side. What do you like? What don't you like?
I mean, Dismember is fantastic. Everything else looks pretty anemic, right? Like,
yeah, I think you're right. We're kind of seeing that when he's piling everything out. Just nothing looks really good. And I think we might shave on a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Maybe a Throne of Geth, modules, and just jam these 4 Dismembers and say, let's have fun.
Yeah, I mean, everything else, you can start to talk about cards like Nature's Claim for Vials, but that a 1-for-1 that doesn't really do anything and gives them 4 life seems odd. And your deck's already so well tuned to the creature matchups. Mm-hmm. I don't think you have to worry too much with cards like Walking Ballista, and just accompanying them with Dismember just seems to be where you want to be.
All right, and then the thing that we have to basically be happy about here for YamaKiller is Game 1 was definitely one of the matchups he really wanted to win here, because afterboard things get super hostile. 4 Braids, Pithing Needles, all kinds of other crazy things. I will tell you what, I think GhostxEmpire looked at the 3 people he's going to play and said, they're probably all going to be on artifacts. And he's like, let's play artifact destruction.deck. And he jammed his Goblins in here. And so far, it's looking like an interesting choice by GhostxEmpire here.
Yeah, you're talking about another just strong player. And super heads up bringing in the ley line, shutting off Ravager, super smart. And all the modular stuff is just not going to be as good, and it also turns off Hangerback, right?
I believe you might be correct on that end. So yeah, this is a super, like I said, this was a very hostile sideboarding for YamaKiller on the other side of the table. And we're just going to see some random, constructs come into play, and we're going to hope they're going to, work their way through it. We've got a Reborn trigger, which YamaKiller is trying to decide whether he wants to move it onto the Hangerback Walker. Which priority is still on the other side, and now we have a Braid coming into the way. So Hangerback Walker is going to go down, and we're going to find out whether or not this actual token is going to come out, which I don't think it does.
So here's the real thing. Do we have a hand of nothing but removal and ways to disrupt, or do we actually have a way to start closing the game? That's going to be the very important question from GhostxEmpire's side.
Right, and I think the question really is going to be whether...
right there.
Speaking of ending the game in a hurry, Goblin Matron shows up, and with GhostxEmpire enjoyed that one a lot. So with Goblin Matron coming down, it's very likely that the next pickup out of that was probably going to be the Trashmaster. And we can and then we could just call that done and over with. We see a rethink of our sideboard from YamaKiller because, them Leyline of the Voids was very powerful there.
It was a strong beating, and that's one of those things, right? Even with a strong player such as GhostxEmpire, not every time will your opponent bring in cards such as Leyline of the Void or Rest in Peace to battle your Ravager and etc. But the heads up there, he's going to be very cautious, bring in the Nat Claims, and try to stop that from reoccurring again.
Right. This is very, very tough for YamaKiller because he's got to be able to cut off 2 different angles, whether it be the Graveyard Hate, the Pithing Needle Hate, and then on top of that, Trashmaster, Crater Maker, all these other random things that interact with him, the Braids. Like, this is going to be tough. Personally, if I was GhostxEmpire, I would mold any hand that says destroy target artifact, and it says it like 3 times. As long as my deck says destroy target artifact 3 times, I am good to go. Even whether it is, like we saw there, Matron. being able to go get, whether it be Trash Master, Crater Maker, or whatever other thing that says destroy target artifact. This is possible that, this is a extremely tough matchup after board. And we may even see to where GhostxEmpire goes like next level or even quadruple level and says, ley lines, don't need them. Showed it to him once, don't need it again. It's not powerful enough. So it's going to be a very interesting game 3 here.
I agree. I think, though, I do keep in some number of ley lines. You don't have to keep them all in, but just being able to put the fear into your opponent is always good enough, especially when you're running to a game 3. And now you're like, but hey, if he took him out, now your opponent's stuck with 4 or 5 cards that are probably bad, and drawing cards towards the mid game that say do nothing is always bad for you, no matter who you are.
Correct. And YamaKiller started the game off with a Reborn into a Worker. And we've got 2 Workers, an Inkmoth, and a Welding Jar. And now we're going to see an Ancient Stirrings. We saw an attack here for 2. So it's quite interesting to see that we saw 2 mana pass back do nothing from Ghost. So it wouldn't surprise if we have an Abrade or some sort of interactive creature type kill munitions expert, if that's what he wanted to bring in this time around to take out some of these creatures. So we're seeing a stare over with these Ancient Stirrings with some lands, Hangerback Walker, Arcbound Ravager, and Double Steel Overseer. Where would you like to head here?
I really like Overseer. I think if you can land an Overseer and you get at least 1, maybe even 2 activations with that card, it starts slowly slowing the game. I mean, we have this Welding Jar to stem the bleeding just in case there is a Braid or etc. But I think that's just a safe play. But then again, you could take the Hangerback Walker and try to go wide if you want as well.
Very much so. I think Steel Overseer might be the pick here, and that's what it is. And so the holdup of the 2 mana, we're probably finally going to see some sort of interactive spell coming from GhostxEmpire here.
Yep. Here's the graph. So let's see if we have interaction that he might just, kill off this Welding Jar. There we go. We already see the hovering of the Welding Jar. Yama's ready.
Yeah, there was almost no way that GhostxEmpire didn't have some sort of interaction there against YamaKiller and then the Steel Overseer. So we head to turn 3. Munitions Expert was the reveal off of the Auntie Havel, if I'm saying that correctly, and in comes the Munitions Expert to take out the Steel Overseer. So 1 Overseer down, and we have another Welding Jar as our pick. So we're going to see a Ballista come down from YamaKiller, followed likely by this Welding Jar. Yep. I'm surprised it wasn't the other way around, but whichever. Half a dozen.
When in doubt, Granny's Blood Crypt is always a neat card.
Indeed. Now we have the pass back to GhostxEmpire, and what horrors can come out of the all Goblins deck this time around?
I mean, he is sitting on 5 cards to Yama's 1. I mean, Yama does have a pretty decent board that he's just looking for a sack outlet. Oh, boy.
Yeah, Krinko Mob Boss has shown up, and the Goblin Mafia is here to take over. I mean, Arcbound Ravager the draw, and Yama is not happy right now.
You can see it on his face that he really needed that to be a Ravager.
Yeah, either that or another Dismember. Dismember would be great here, as Krinko is just going to start cranking them out.
So do you think, knowing that he had another Walking Ballista in hand, should he have left that Walking Ballista on 2, then play the second one and just kill this Krinko?
So you basically want to shoot the Krinko down with 2 Ballistas, because we're looking at 1 counter on each of them, and I think Krinko's a 3/3 though.
Well, remember, the Walking Ballista had 2 on it, but he used it to kill the Ammunitions Expert.
I don't know. It would be tough to go from there. We're seeing a Pithing Needle on Walking Ballista at this moment, I believe. And now Goblin... Oh, wow. Goblin Ringleader shows up and whips basically again.
So we're 1 land away from the win here.
Just about. Are we considering Inkmoth Nexusing the way to victory?
I think that's it. I think at this point that is his win, his out.
So if that is set out and we are currently a land short, do you still like attacking with Inkmoth Nexus this turn? Or would you rather just hold them back?
I don't, because I actually don't like playing the Ravager either, but I see why you have to. And the reason why I don't like playing it is because like giving him giving your basically information to your out is kind of the thing I would be worried about.
A very interesting line there. It's also interesting that he chose to tap the Hangerback Walker this turn instead of leaving up a mana to activate Inkmoth Nexus to put the counters on the with the Ravager. So currently this Ravager is wide open to go wherever it wants. I think we may see some lines of going on to the Walking Ballista, being if it were to die this turn.
All right, so
maybe he's just.
No!
Oh no! Oh.
The Goblin Gatling gun is here.
Yeah, that's not good for our opponent.
So this is one of those things where Yama knows his deck in and out. I can't ever question him. Playing against him, watching him play the deck, I've seen him stream the deck. I just wonder how he sees all these lines. He's just so stone cold synced with his deck and knows what he's doing. But I think if all goes well, I think we may have the win here on YamaKiller's side.
Yeah. Well, now what exactly does this this giant goblin do for us?
So, if I'm correct, that's the one when another goblin dies. It deals 1 damage to any target. Yep, and he can sack a goblin and deal damage.
Interesting. So he is in a rock and a hard place as far as whether he's going to try and go for the kill here with this Inkmoth Nexus, because it's going to stop the moment the Archmage wants to move the counters over. Not to mention the munitions expert sitting in our opponent's hand has flash as well. Can't kill with Inkmoth while there's a flashing kill spell going around.
Right. But at the moment, it's summoning sick. I think like this would probably be the best time to go for it. Also, he's going to be staring down a lot of goblins at the end of this turn due to the Krinko.
Yeah, I think this is a very, very tough turn to try and figure out here. It's one of those ones where he can go for it now and like use the welding jar to protect it, which may be an out. But we don't even know how many counters he can put on it in time with all these goblins being made. So it might be one of these situations where he's going to have to try and fight the ground with what it's sitting at and try and make big giant dudes.
Yep, and here we go. We're going to try to get something done here, which I think he has to. He's got to make a move. He might just be swinging for one here, though.
Yeah, it might be a small little guy, and then he might try and protect it with the welding jar here this turn.
Yep.
It's also possible he can force... I wonder if it's possible he can force maybe a mistake from the Goblins player here.
Correct. And this is how he can actually win, is due to the fact that he can pump up the Hangerback Walker. And this is the thing, is like when you look at this deck and you're like, oh, here's the clear line to win with Hardened skills. There's no real clear line. They're all very complex and very mathematical. This is definitely a Frank Karsten deck, if I've ever seen one.
Indeed. So we've got a lot of sacks to this Archmage Ravager. And then all Ghost has to do is wait for the moment to put all the counters onto the Inkmoth Nexus. And I think he can probably stop the 1/1. But with Welding Jar, it's going to remove it from combat. And then he'll have to kill him next turn, basically.
If he gets the next turn.
Yeah, through another Welding Jar. So we're going to be... Yep, so we see the move where he's going to set up for his next turn right here.
Yep, and this is what I would have had to do as well. It's just all about timing and numbers. But here's the thing. We're looking at how many goblins coming down? 2, 4, 5, 6 goblins?
Yeah, there's 6 more goblins, and this place is getting kind of full of red creatures.
So, I mean, there's 3 cards in the hand, and we have another draw off this land if he needs it.
Man, there are a lot of draw steps for goblins, for GhostxEmpire to draw here. Anything between basically a time walk, which is going to be like braids, or because any kind of kill spell to remove the Zinc Bomb Nexus is going to basically produce one more turn.
Oh no!
Oh no! And then like the Trash Master coming down is enough here, and I wonder if this
Ammunitions expert. This is game.
Yeah. Yep. So this is another one of those like time walk plays where if he tries to go for a win again, he's just going to remove it from combat, and then we're gonna sit here again, and there's gonna be more goblins on the board. So I don't know what YamaKiller has to do from here. This is not a good spot.
Oh no, this is not where you want to be. And this is like, and what's crazy is with a lot of these new goblins, the goblin deck looks so much like the legacy deck. Oh well, this is interesting. We drew a blink moth. But that's what not. Yeah, there's. I think this is lights out.
Yeah, man. There's YamaKiller going down with the concession button right there. That was huge win for GhostxEmpire there. Wow, that. Whoa. Yeah, wow. I don't even know what to say there, Michael. Like that was crazy win for Goblins.deck right there.
The removal from that Flash Goblin is, I guess I'd severely underrated that. And utilizing the regenerations, because when you regenerate something, it gets tapped and removed from combat. So being able to wait because of the wording of Welding Jar's regeneration, being able to wait until after all the count, it wasn't just like, it wasn't this waiting game of I'll put a couple counters on, then wait, put a couple more on, then wait. It was all or nothing, which is the line that he had to take. But unfortunately, like you were calling that, I liked great term, that time walk goblin.
Yeah, at that point, all of them was basically, one blue, your opponent just doesn't get his next turn. And that was crazy there to see with, the maneuvering around there. That was a fantastically piloted goblin pile, shall we say.
Absolutely.
Well, I couldn't be more excited to see this next match. Like, this one's going to be huge. We've got, Susurus versus... PuntThenWhine. So we've got Mild Fairies versus another Prison Lock. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be our final round of the night. I am super excited to head on to this, aren't you?
I am pumped. No, Murloc, I know it's late. Can you stay one more match with us tonight?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. All right.
We've got a real man on our hands.
So we're gonna have a small break, and then we will jump back into the Forecast of Doom and the last round of the night. Right now, Team Ice is up 5-4 on this week. If PuntThenWhine on Amulet Titan beats Susurus, Team Ice wins the week. If Susurus is able to, with his prison, able to lock out the prime time, we tie for the third time in Modern Streamers League history. What's going to happen? Well, we're all going to get to see it next in just 1 minute. Welcome back to the final forecast of Doom this evening. The final forecast for week number 9. We have Amulet Titan again, representing Team Ice with PuntThenWhine, a very different type of Amulet Titan than we saw Cyrus on, and also a very different one than we saw Francisco on previously. And we have Sorceress here, known as Prison Mike, leading up Karn Prison. This is a very interesting matchup, particularly game 1. It's actually kind of reminds me of Ryan's matchup against Cyrus, where we were able to see how Ensnaring Bridge interacts with Amulet Titan, and how Prison Pieces, because Urza has prison-like elements, can interact with a big mana toolbox deck. And conversely, how the big mana toolbox deck interacts with those prison elements. Now, in Punt's list, we do have some really neat main board cards. Primal Command is actually an out to something like an Ensnaring Bridge and gets around Welding Jar, which is really neat. Reclamation Sage mainboard is also really important here. And we have a Ballista and an Engineered Explosives as extra ways to win through an Ensnaring Bridge. Postboard. PuntThenWhine is going to have access to Nature's Claim, Beast Within, 2 more Engineered Explosives, a Pithing Needle, and a Bajuka Bog, which all do different things against this prison deck. The prison deck's game plan is really to land a Chalice on 1 or 0, to lock out the 1-drop spells, and then to lock out the Teleria West's effectiveness with an EE on 0. A Spyglass, which can name Teleria West, Slayer's Stronghold, Engineered Explosives, or even Walking Ballista if there's a bridge lockout plan. Bridge, which I can't emphasize how important that is in this particular matchup, and Karn. Karn, the Great Creator, can grab a Damping Sphere out of the sideboard, which is really, really good against Amulet Titan, as we saw that in Ryan's matchup. So that is my forecast. Those are the key cards we need to look out for. This is, can Amulet Titan navigate through this prison, through this labyrinth and prison maze, with Rexage and Primal Command. That's the forecast. Let's see how it all plays out.
Well, here we go with our final round of the night. Welcome to the bottom of the 9th inning, the last few minutes on the ticker clock for the game, and we're going to have a goodie here. Go ahead and tell your friends, get your family in here, get them all up in here. This is the final round of the night. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. Are you ready for this, Scott?
Oh man, the countdown is over. We are here. We got Prison Mike and we got Punt. Punt's playing his signature Amulet Titan, and of course, Mr. Mike on the Prison, trying to put down the prime time and away with the lock and key. Let's see what happens.
Oh yeah, this is going to be fantastic. We've already got a quick start from the Amulet Titan deck. We've got our bounce land with our put our land in Dork, and then we've got another Ancient Stirrings to reveal Amulet of Vigor. We are going off on Punt's side right now. I don't know what Mike is going to be able to do here. I mean, we're just going to absorb some prison. We're going to look at our opponent's hand and see if we've got nothing left over but a Summoner's Pact. This is a fairly most hand that we might be able to get through here. What do you think?
I think he might have time to actually put down the bridge, which is what all he needs to do, and I think that the game is pretty much over.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to see Sorcerer's Spyglass take out, I believe, the Sugary Tribe Elder. No, did we name Slayer's Stronghold? We definitely named Slayer's Stronghold here. So this is an interesting way to go about it. I think if he would have named the Tribe Elder, he might have slowed down by a turn. But I don't think a turn is all that was needed, right?
Right. I don't think that's going to actually matter. I think the prime time getting haste and getting in it shot is what matters.
Yeah, so we're just going to stop the death from happening this turn and then try and lock out a bridge next. So there's definitely ways to go about here. As long as Teleria West looking for Walking Ballista doesn't show up, we should be in a good spot, don't you think?
Oh, I think so. I think Mike probably has played against this deck a lot, and he knows where he needs to be.
Oh, for sure. I have definitely seen Mike go off and kill anybody out of the middle of nowhere because he knows exactly what he's doing, and their opponents have no idea of how to, face this matchup. But we've got a Summoner's Pact going for a Titan, and Titan's going to come in and probably get us, I have no idea. Is it a T-West Vesuva? I have no idea. I am not a Titan person.
Unfortunately, I would have to tap in Doom for this one. I'm not sure either. I think Oh, there he is.
It's what is getting picked here, and so far we're seeing So wasn't quite Vesuva, but we did get the other bounce land and Tularia West were the picks here. So I'm pretty excited that I got something kind of right. Oh my goodness, is that a Hornet Queen coming around?
Calling in HQ. A little bit delayed. I'm sorry, a little bit delayed there. I couldn't snap give you that. What was he going to be grabbing answer?
All right. Well, now that HQ's here, so we went and got Tularia West. Is Tularia West going to go and get either EE or Walking Ballista?
Tularia West will absolutely get one of those. Of note, though, because of PuntThenWhine's current mana situation with only green-blue mana, he doesn't have access to an engineered explosives on 3.
Interesting. So we're going to have a pact. Wow. Ooh. So we've got 2 packs to pay for this turn? Can he pay for 2 packs this turn?
He can, because the Secure Tribe Scout can actually flash in mana also with that amulet.
Wow, this is some strong play by Punt.
This is some next level amulet here.
This is some good stuff here. So we've got double pack being paid for, and we're gonna get another Titan swing in. And there's no bridge on the other side of the board. We are looking to be in a really, really good spot right here. Scott, what can we do here with these 2 words in our hand?
Send help, and I don't know if they're gonna help enough. That's all. I'm sitting here looking at both these decks. I'm like, how do they work, and what do they do?
Yeah, it'd be like, who is your daddy, and what do they do? So I think what's gonna happen here is Mike is gonna just keep jamming bridges until one of them sticks. Each one of these words can go get a bridge. So it'll be interesting to see if the jam the bridge happens before the Titan just runs over. It'll be. I think this is where we're headed. I'm not sure if that's going to be completely true from here, but Titan's going to come down, pick up another T West and a Boros Garrison, because we can't kill this turn because it's been shut off by the Spyglass.
Yeah, Mike looks like he's trying to figure out if there's a way for him to get out of this, but I think the door, like I've said very much on a couple of these matches, is slowly closing, and this Titan has definitely got the hammer.
Yeah, the hammer has been revealed, and we're ready just to wait to slam it when we can. Mike is not pleased about how this one's going so far. So we're gonna see if we got another coalition relic, and we're gonna pop this bauble to try and find some more answers. I think is what Mike's about to head off to.
So I think what needed to happen was he needed to find a Karn and a way to play a bridge in the same turn.
Well, yeah, something like that is possible. So we have another bauble coming off the top, and we shouldn't play this T-West unless we're planning on whirring for the next couple turns. So we're going to hold back the T-West, and we're definitely going to whir here on our opponent's turn, and I hope that we're not going to die to any kind of engineered explosives. But the problem is there's double T-West on our opponent's side, so we also now have the mana for the 3rd color to get the engineered explosives to blow up on 3. Things are not looking nice at this point. So I think we may see a whir here, followed by a T-West to go get Welding Jar as a possibility to get around this ensnaring bridge. But I don't think that's going to stop any of the other main deck type of ways. So we'll see where things go from here. Wow, Walking Ballista was just revealed.
Yeah, this is getting really scary for Mike. I think Punt is definitely realizing what he needs to do, and he is just pushing and pushing and pushing.
Right. So here's the whir for the bridge to stop the attacks. And then we will probably see a response, whether that be Tularia West getting EE, which we can put on.
Oh, wow, there was another bridge.
Yeah. So I wonder, so we've got 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, he can go get, we're not going to have time to Tularia West for a Welding Jar here, because we can go ahead and get T-West here, I'm doing my math right, get T-West here, go get EE, play E, and even pop it in the same turn.
Oh, wow, this is a lot of mana for this Ballista.
Yeah, or we could just make a giant Ballista.
I mean, these two players know what they're doing, and they are very calculated in their math and where they need to go to win the game. And we're just seeing that from both sides.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different, plays that can be done, a lot of different routes, lines, and options for all of these players to pick because they are, shall we call them, the masters of their decks at this point.
Oh,
Punt's,
right.
Punt's nothing but your Titan player, and I've seen Mike play so much Prison, and it's fantastic to watch these masters go at their decks right here.
Yeah, that Chalice is definitely not going to do anything here. It's a little late to the party.
Yeah, we're going to see a Whir likely go for the other Spyglass and probably shut off this Ballista. I think that's a problem at this moment. But I don't think it quite solves the T-West for Ensnaring Bridge. So we're going to see where it can go from here. I wonder, so Punt may try and go under this. Let's see, if we do him for 7, he may try and go under the bridge with the Tribe Elder.
I mean, that is a possibility. And so, after this turn, Mike gets to basically just put down his hand, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So we've got Spyglass. Now we get to see it, and this is going to shut off this Ballista. Yeah, and that's what we were seeing earlier was the counters come off the Walking Ballista and shooting Mike at the face in an effort to be able to get under this bridge. And it's possible, wow, Mike's going next level now that he's gotten this.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is a strong play here. We're using the Sorcerer Spyglass that we went and got to shut the Ballista off. But now, since there's no more counters on the Walking Ballista, we can go ahead and name Teleria West. So this will give Mike another turn to be able to do something productive next turn and be able to, keep this bridge around longer. I'm quite surprised that T-West got played there, but things are starting to look really good for Mike here now that none of the creatures can attack.
This goes back to just talking about how much time and reps these two have in their decks and just knowing what they have to do to get across. A lot of players wouldn't have even thought about the T-West there. Their first impact is, well, what if this Ballista gets big again? And, I think at this point, Mike's playing to a Karn. I think he knows he needs to find Karn in the next couple turns or it's over regardless.
Indeed. And it's also possible he might be playing to the third Whir. I'm not sure where that Witchbane Orb is located at the moment. But being able to stop T-West at the moment is definitely better than stopping the Ballista, which should, unless one more counter randomly gets on there, give him one more draw step. And in essence, with a Bobble an extra one there too. So.
Right, and those, like I said, very important things to think about. Karn's. Oh,
wow!
Oh,
is this going to be the? I wonder where he's going to head. I don't remember his list completely. He may head.
You can always ask the mothership to throw it in the chat.
Yeah,
there's a mystical mothership above us.
Mothership, we need another jump.
Oh, there's another Hornet Queen.
Deckless dump.
Deckless dump. He can grab. Does he have another Sorcerer's Spyglass? That's the real question here, right?
Yeah, and that's also another option as well. Typically, they run somewhere between 4, somewhere in the 75.
He's got 2 main.
Yeah, and that means the other one's sitting behind Karn.
One side. He cannot grab a Sorcerer's Spyglass, so he cannot lock out that Walking Ballista.
But he EE for 1? Is that where we're going? We're EEing, taking the... Okay. So we word for 0, got an EE, took out all zeros, which is Walking Ballista, along with our Mox and...
His own
that's
Chalice.
His own Chalice. So we're still alive at 1.
So a Reclamation Sage is what's needed here to win the game for Punt. Or Primal Command grabbing that bridge.
Wow, we are seeing some tight play from both of these players right here. And I think Punt's got almost garbage left in his hand. I don't remember from the review from the Sorcerer Spyglass. But we're just waiting to, see who draws better off the top at the moment. We've got Mike drawing a land, and then Punt's just going to keep, trying to get through this the best that he possibly can to find either the Primal Command or I guess the EE's gone now too. So I guess Rec Sage in the main. So I think if Mike draws another Chalice, he'll be able to shut off any Summoner's Pact. Uh-oh, what is this? Scott, what is this? Send help.
Oh, it looks like to be just another basically nothing. This is where I would love to have a Blast Zone in my Amulet deck.
That's an interesting tech there to see a Blast Zone coming out of a Titan. That would be really strong right here. So we're probably not going to see that. We're going to see Vesuva and a Colony Heart Garden. Interesting. So we're going to make the 0/1 plant. And is there a way to pump this garden in the deck?
I don't think so.
Yes. So after a small calculation, the only way to pump it is going to be the Slayers, but we've got that one locked down already. So, wow, the locks are starting to happen. Another welding jar here to cover his bridge. Currently now we've got the Rex Sage taken out. What is left over? Primal Command, is that it? I believe that's all we have left. Thankfully, Primal Command puts on the top of the library, so we're not done here yet. Folks, we still got a game going on, and Mike's just waiting to draw the goodies.
Because we still have one more, correct? Or is there only 3 in the deck?
There is one more in the deck, and then the natural draws of bridge here. So if he can produce another bridge, this should do it. Oh, Karn. Wow. This will do it right here. This will do it right here. And we'll probably...
What a game.
What a game. Yeah, right? So we'll probably go and just get it. I think we'll go and get the other bridge or a Spellskite, one or the other. They all work real good here. This is hey, here's your fruit basket, Mike. Pick one out of it and have fun. Eat to your delight. This is going to be fantastically, piloted here by both these players, and I think that Mike's going to be able to, depending on what he gets here, pull this out.
Yeah, I think the thing is to think about is one small miscalculation from Mike loses this game, but Mike stayed, very cool and calm and collective, pushed through, knew what cards he had to find, and this is what the one thing about the Modern Streamers League, being able to have open deck lists means a lot. It changes everything.
Yeah, and you can definitely see Mike definitely looked through it and was like, how do I lose here? And I think he's done the math, and I think, again, Primal Command is the only one left, which means a second bridge of any sort cuts it down, or a way to prevent the targeting from happening. So we've got Troper Orb coming down to stop the Rex Sage. And if Spellskite was also picked here, Spellskite should stop the Primal Command, I believe. So we'll see how that works out for us.
Right, so next turn we get Lattice and the game is over?
Yep. So Mike's just playing to the Rex Sage out here, and we'll see if we have this all covered and locked up here next turn.
Yep.
Oh, Chalice has been the draw, and here goes Karn back into the fruit bowl basket. And I think we're just gonna pick the Lattice, the best banana of the bunch, and put it out here.
Yep. And we'll see the Chalice go down. That way, no swings from that'll be game, I do believe. I don't think there's an out.
No, and this will just be what you call a Lattice lock. And so now we're going to dig into our sideboard, Scott. I think I like the little bit of interaction that we have. So we should see things like Trope Orb come in, because I'd rather whir for that, or natural draw that than grab that with Karn. Tezzeret is fantastic here in this matchup, just extra tutors. And then we'll probably, what do you like taking out? Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that?
Well, I will let you say what you would take out, because the 2 times I've played this deck, I've locked myself out of the game.
Yeah.
This deck is just wild. I love watching it being played. Once again, I love anything that says Tezzeret. These cards are just always super powerful. Mystic Forge being, in my opinion, one of the best artifacts printed in the last 2 years. There's just so much going on here. And Mike is one of those people that if he can play Prison in the format, he's going to do it. If for some reason they print a standard artifact Prison deck, Mike will be streaming it. I can guarantee it.
100%. I've definitely done my turnarounds with Artifact Prison. It's completely fun for me. I love it. I don't know why. But artifacts are my gig. I like them. They do cool things. So
they're definitely cool.
Yeah, they are one of the better type permanents, I think, other than the fact that lands let you play spells. So we've got an interesting hand. Not a lot going on.
I do think that it's a keep, right?
I think this is a keep because it could be a boat. Let's just be honest.
Oh man, But what if there's a boat in the box?
Yeah, it just could be a boat in the box. You never know. We'll definitely see what. We'll probably go turn 1, Stirrings, turn 2, Skite. Something of the sort, maybe. I don't know. I'm not Mike. We'll let Mike tell me.
I think HQ has spoken. This hand is a keep with a Ghost Quarter in hand.
Yeah, and that was one of the considering factors as well that made that a much stronger hand to keep. You know, we've got our Skite for a little bit of interaction for protection for our spells. We're able to look at the top 5 cards and Ghost Quarter to stop one of these lands. So it's all just a matter of, finding the Whir, finding the bridge, finding the Karn. One of these particular cards is what we're looking for. I think this is a oomph for the most part. Chalice is pretty good here for the most part. I say that only because it can stop the 0-drop Summoner's Pact, and that's about it. But on the other side, we've got her own Stirrings, and I think this Stirrings is going to be a lot more powerful here. Cavern of Souls is the pickup off of this Stirrings, and we're going to see Grill Turf come down.
Here we go. The dynamite's going off. Let's see if it's going to be a big enough explosion to make an impact herd here.
I think the thud was found at a 1/1 ballista. So we're going to have our Chalice come down on 0 after we play our 0-drops. We're going to have our Island come out and likely play Spellskite. Yeah, Spellskite sounds about right. I would have rather, he did it backwards now that I'm looking at it. I would have rather Talismaned into the Spellskite. He sees it, I see it, we all see it. Whoopsies! So,
Toasty!
Is it toasty? So we'll have to move on from that one. We'll just put the punt count up for Mike. So Cavern of Souls come down. Scott, what are we looking at? Is Azusa going to be a possibility here?
If Azusa is it, I think we should start counting the time till his life has expired.
Yeah, well, let's see. How long do you think it'll take to get to game 3?
Wow, only 1 land in hand. Yikes.
Yikes. It figures a natural draw of a 0-drop that we've already locked out. Here's the Talisman, which basically wasted him a whole turn to play. Thankfully, I have a Ghost Quarter to be able to do something.
Do you think we're going to Ghost Quarter on the... no, I thought we were going to Ghost Quarter in the draw step. But I guess he'll Ghost Quarter if he plays another bounce land.
That is also a possibility as well. There are multiple. I would think there are multiple opportunities to Ghost Quarter, whether it's upkeep, whether it's a target from another bounce land. I think there's time, and especially with the Azusa out, to being able to cut an extra one of these bounce lands out is going to be just beautiful right now.
I think our own in-house Amulet player says you want to hold it for the Slayer Stronghold.
Yeah, that's pretty good there too, to cut that off. I mean, there's lots of uses for this Ghost Quarter. It's a never-ending fountain of usefulness.
Is that what we're going to call it?
We could either call that or we can call it a sprinkle of greatness.
Oh, goodness. Here we go, you muffin man. Go make you a cupcake.
I need more cupcakes. So we've got even more attacks. Azusa's coming in, Walking Ballista's coming in, Spellskite's getting in the way, and we're seeing a change this time from the Walking Ballista over to the Azusa because we don't want to get our Walking Ballista accidentally shot down after it takes damage. See our Spellskite get actually shot down because it takes damage from this Walking Ballista.
I was about to say, are we just going to start, self-destroying our own stuff?
It could be. Rexate just joined the battle, and we're going after the Welding Jar. Interesting. Now we have a redirect from Spellskite back to it, and we're going to keep a Welding Jar around. I don't know. Interesting. I actually like this now that I think about it more, because zeros are cut off, so he can't play any more Welding Jars, but he can play more Spellskites.
Correct. I was about to say, I think that Chalice is on 0, not 2. I know it's all right, Ryan. Your brain hurts. You have a headache. It's cool. You're new. You don't know what to do.
It's all right. We'll just jam a whole bottle and we'll be just fine.
Oh, you mean how about we just jam Ensnaring Bridge instead?
I think we can definitely do that. And Finner's Fair has gone and found the Ensnaring Bridge for the day, and now we're just slowly locking it up. We're just waiting for Mike to do Mikey things.
Yep, and I think that's already started.
Yeah, I think that train has left the dock already. And let's see, T-West shows up to the party. Yeah, we have a T-West showing up to the party. Interestingly got played, maybe because we need blue mana of some sorts. or that we're going to just try and finish things game off with the Walking Ballista.
Yep. I just don't know if this Walking Ballista is going to be able to do it in time, though.
Yeah,
it's still relatively small.
Yeah, it's relatively small. There's way too much for it to do at this point. I'm very curious on what's going to be our next route of trying to get to victory, other than finding the things that we want to. I do think we should have used this Ghost Quarter a whole lot sooner. Now we're going after T West. Interesting, yeah. There goes the T West, which was probably going to be important at some point, being able to go and get the EEs.
Right.
So I'm glad that is gone there for Mike's side. But we're going to likely get another counter on this Walking Ballista unless Titan's ready to show up.
Yeah, I think at this point the game is very heavily favored Mike unless Punt can pull something out. Which don't ever count out Punt. He knows his deck very well, and an EE, like you said, can definitely change the game very fast.
Mm-hmm. We could also see a Primal Command come in, which might be something he's also setting up for, is like a large swing with this Walking Ballista with a Primal Command just upheaval on the Ensnaring Bridge. So there's a lot of different routes to be had here for the PuntThenWhine. I don't know which one's right, and I don't know which one he'll take, but we're definitely going to see a draw. Oh, wow. The draw of Dampening Sphere here was fantastic. It's going to shut off the dual lands, basically, the double lands, and we're going to have to see this done the hard way from here on out.
Mike is definitely putting up a fight and making sure that there will be no easy Titan swings. And I'm trying to figure out a way that Punt is able to remove this Welling Jar and kill the bridge. And I don't see it, especially now that he is just locked to 5 mana, 6 mana.
Oof, the one lasting plan that was still there for Mike, for PuntThenWhine, has just been shut off by Mike. The Sorcerer's Spyglass is going to pop.
Are you saying all Amulet players are the same person or look the same?
I am not. I am not. No. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
I can assure you not all Amulet players look the same. I have the most crooked nose.
Oh, man. Thank you, Headquarters, for answering the question that I have no knowledge to, because apparently sometimes all Amulet players only look like Titans. Whether they be primeval or just some other evil kind. Who all knows? They're all filled with ice. So, moving on from here, Sorcerer Spyglass has come down, and it's probably named... I can't tell anymore. We're just going to try and zoom in at one point. It might be named Walking Ballista to try and prevent that plan from happening again, which was Punt's. Oh, wow.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, wow. Man, 2 strong draws. Very, very strong draws from Mike here of Sorcerer Spyglass into... Well, sorry, it might have been 3 Dampening Sphere, Sorcerer Spyglass into Karn. Karn's likely going to go get one of the last pieces we need to lock up this game. And things are looking super, super grim.
And I think this is one of those games that Punt played extremely well. And I can't even see a misplay if there was one. And Mike just pulling it out like he is so well at.
Very, very, very true. Here's our Beast Within to top the Karn. So we won't be seeing any Lattice Lock here. Oh, bummer. And... thankfully, Mike went and got the Mystic Forge to be able to, keep going. So we're going to see some more action coming out from Mike now that he has this Mystic Forge, and conveniently now a blocker, which might be important at some point if, for instance, our upheaval from the Primal Command gets taken on our bridge.
Yeah, like I said, I've talked about Mystic Forge twice so far. Every time I see this card, I'm just like... did you have to do this, Wizards? Did we need a giant furnace to find all the other pieces to make the furnace burn hotter?
I think so. Let's just be honest. I am a huge fan of this card as well. So yes, Mystic Forge seems great as far as like a card playability. Even though we're gonna see some downsiding effects because he can't cast everything he wants because he's gonna be taxed even more with the Dampening Sphere. So I mean, that's twice today where we've seen Dampening Sphere be a little bit, fair. Because
Oh,
it.
look
Oh
what you
boy.
found.
Oh boy. As I was finishing fair because it stops both sides, but this EE showing up, and I think it's on. What did we put this EE on? 0. Yeah.
I think, yep, it's definitely a 0.
All right. So we're gonna get a welding jar activation on our chalice to save that one. And now we're going to try and get through this the best we possibly can. Ancient Stirring's the draw step. Man, another good one.
So I think the reasoning for the EE there was to get rid of the welding jar?
100%. You have to slowly work your way through every single piece of hate that has to come out from Mike.
Wow.
Oh, my. Oh, can we stop Titans? Can we stop? Wow. So Thopter, Troper Orb was chosen over the other bridge. Do you like that?
Yeah, I do a lot. I think now he doesn't have to worry about Rex Sage or anything silly. It's just to the point I think Mike is like, hey, it's my party. I'm not crying. It's time to just lock it up. And,
Yeah.
The house is safe.
Yeah, so the burglar alarm is set, and please come in if you want, but ain't gonna be able to get through that door. So things are starting definitely wind in Mike's favor. This has been really interesting to see. I don't know if draws have been, the way punts wanted them to be. We're into turn 11, and we still have no Titan on the horizon.
You say that, but we've seen the EE, we've seen a Beast Within, we've seen a Zuza. So we've seen all these cards that technically what he's been looking for. It's just Mike has been one step ahead every way.
I can definitely get behind that statement, yeah. And we're going to see, wow, another EE here too. As this one's on 2, and we're probably going to stop, Troper Orb and the Dampening Sphere here?
You get both those, and you get rid of the Sorcerer's Spyglass.
Along with the Talisman. This EE on 2 is strong here. So Mystic Forge is going to come down.
But that's the thing, right, is he will unlock the full potential of this EE if he does this. I mean, the Mystic Forge, my bad. All artifacts look the same.
This could be like a double-edged sword, shall you say.
Correct. I'm trying to figure out what the play pattern is from Punt. I know at this point Mike is just waiting for... He's two-stepping. He's like, hey, you make a move, I'm going to make 2 steps ahead of your move. And that's where he's at currently.
Yep. Ancient Stirring was a draw off the top. Mike's going to go ahead and shuffle away this Mishra's Bauble so he can find a better hit. And speaking of better hit, can we just play Karn off the top, please? Thank you, Mystic Forge.
Wow, I know activation of the EE in response. So I think...
Yes. This is huge for Mike here. Being able to get Karn to stop the EE. We're going to see Ancient Stirrings go pick up another lock piece. This game is, again... We're swinging right back into Mike's favor. This has been one hell of a game, shall we say.
Right, and I mean, we saw at game 1, Mike was literally at 1, and he faced down everything. He faced down a prime time, he faced down several EEs and a walking ballista, and was still able to just pull right through.
Indeed. We're gonna see Karn tick up. We're gonna see Karn tick up on the EE because just in case Karn goes away, that EE does not need to be there.
Oh, wow. And look, he has him a beautiful Blast Zone, which I was talking about earlier. I wish was in the Primetime deck because it would look sweet.
Yeah, Blast Zone's going to be a huge play here. Mike's looking at a very favorable shape, and he even agrees. And that is the last and final game of the day, taken down by Team Fire with their victory here. Fantastically played by Mike. Fantastic game. You guys witnessed some amazing games of Magic there. And a lot of good maneuvering back and forth, as we mentioned. So, Mike, I need you to hit it.
I hit
Turn it on up.
No! I hit it 21-19, which means after 9 weeks of modern streaming, after 90 matches of the Modern Streamers League, Team Fire and Team Ice are tied. We have played 90 matches of Modern Magic the Gathering. And this is not like this is the first time we've been tied. We keep having hills and valleys. One team seems to gain a slight advantage. Ice looked like it was going to take over after Season 1. Granted, that was by a 2-match lead. And now Fire looked like they were about to take over, but Team Ice rallied back pretty hard. A nice stretch there. But overall, this week is a tie, 5-5. And Team Fire is now have 45 match wins, the same as Team Ice. I can't believe the parity we have right now. And I'm not saying parity like a bad thing. I'm saying parity like the NFL. Now, every team can win any given week, and every single week is kind of like a new season. And every couple, we keep changing decks, we keep doing different things. And the only constant I've seen 2 constants. One constant is that every single week is close. Every single match is mattered. Every single game is mattered. Every single punt is mattered. And the second one is that I just can't seem to lose.
You had to do it, didn't you? You just had to.
I might have
knew
jinxed
it was
myself
coming.
going into next week, where I put my undefeated record on the line on Monday against Dito on Grix's Death Shadow. My team needs me to keep winning, so I'm going to keep doing everything I can for my team. And that guy right there in the middle, Mr. Murloc.
Yeah, he needs unfortunately all the help you can get.
You ain't wrong.
This man needs a float, a boat, and even some training wheels to keep him up.
Hey, my friends are doing just fine. Just wait. Next week, we're going to come hard with the Bernies.
Oh my gosh, the Bernies are coming in. Oh, is it possible we can probably, cage the Murloc? Is it time to cage the Murloc yet?
No caging the Murloc yet. We want...
Woo!
Look, we are at 45-45 overall record through the last 90 matches. We are unleashing all of our beasts, all of our critters, all of our Murlocs. We are just going to sprinkle some goodness there. We are going to be buzzing in with HQ. We're going to find every single callback we can in this sentence.
The Queen of Buzz is coming. Don't worry.
Someone bring an extinguisher, please.
So real quick, we're sponsored by Card Hoarder and Card Kingdom. Please check them out. I've given them personal endorsements. I know I'm the founder of this league, but a big reason why they are our sponsors was because I didn't ask companies that I don't use the products of to sponsor the league that I founded. Like, I don't want that to happen. I personally use both Card Hoarder and Card Kingdom. Card Hoarder for my MTGO product and Card Kingdom for my paper product. So check them out. Also, check out the whole reason we're here is we are donating money and raising awareness for 2 great charities. Click below. Most importantly, A21, trying to end slavery worldwide. Ryan gave a great testimonial for them earlier. Definitely check them out. And the Cancer Research Institute, also working to end cancer.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Go on.
And the other thing I wanted to say is, don't forget, about the streamers. This wouldn't be possible without the streamers. Just swing by their channels. Each one of them has their own, their own Twitch channel, their own stream. Swing by them, say hello to them, let them know that, hey, you did a fantastic job on your match this week on the Streamers League, or hey, you did this that might have been able to be done better, or hey, have you considered this for a deck? Or even if you're lucky, it's possible that you might even get pick their deck list for the next following week in the league. Swing by each one of the streamers' channels, give them a holler, give them a follow, give them a subscription if you want to. We are actual real people and real streamers out there. So go by.
It's questionable if I'm real, but yeah.
Yeah, it's possible you may be inhuman. So we don't know. But we'll leave the alien over there. We'll leave the alien robot in the corner. But yeah, swing by each one of our channels. Give us a like. Give us a follow. We are here to provide you with the best modern Magic possible and the best streaming possible on our own personal channels as well. So
Absolutely. And if you're wondering how to find us, I put the link in the chat, www.ModernStreamersLeague.com. That is our mothership. Go to that website. There's a link, a bio, a handsome picture of every single streamer, and you get to see their Twitch link, their YouTube link, their Twitter link, any other links. You can follow your favorite player in all forms of media, and maybe you like a specific deck and you want to say, oh, I saw Noah Murloc playing that awesome deck that, what, did you cast a Walking Ballista for 45 without a Devoted Druid, without Tron, and without an Amulet? How did you do that? If you would like to see that content, maybe he has a YouTube channel. I don't know. You can check ModernStreamersLeague.com, scroll down to his little picture, click on it, and it's right there. Right there.
definitely. Well, Mike, this has been a fantastic night with fantastic games, with fantastic streamers, and also fantastic people here commentating with us. We had a great viewing today. You viewers have been fantastic. We thank you guys for sticking through it all. I don't know with Mike, but I think it's time to cage the Murloc. We'll have to put him back up for the night. Jigglypuff?
Murloc, what was your favorite moment of the night?
Oh, that's rough. I mean, I'll tell you, my favorite match was definitely watching Goblins versus Hardened Scales. I did not know what to expect from that matchup at all. It was fantastic. It's been wonderful. Thank you, everybody, so much. I actually think the best part of the night was just, I think Ryan said, amazing commentators. That means I'm amazing. Thank you so much, Team Fire representative.
I mean, you do have to be built up every once in a while. Otherwise, you'll just stay in a hole. So, sorry.
I love this frenemies thing you guys have going on. It warms my heart to know that people can love each other so much, like you two, that you're willing to tear each other apart on a nightly basis.
It's the only way to operate between us.
Facts.
Ryan, what was your favorite moment of
just watching some of the strong play, watching like individual power cards happen. Teferi, seeing how strong Teferi was out of that deck, seeing how, at any moment Urza being drawn is the win from Copolo and me. Wow, look at Mike just pilot around every single thing that went on at the from Punt. It was fantastic games today. I loved every bit of it. And one of the the best things, of course, tonight was being able to sit here and roast this fool right next to me. I can't get over the fact that actually got to happen. So we are here. We made it happen, and it is done.
You got to roast each other for over 3 hours, and guess what? This will be on YouTube, and you can rewatch the roasts as much as you want on YouTube.
Well,
so
Mike, it has been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
For myself, for the Noble Murloc of the night, anything left you'd like to say?
No. Sorry. I'm saying I am all set. I've had a wonderful night. Thank you very much, you two guys. Awesome co-hosts. Awesome hanging out with. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right, everyone have a good night. Later all, signing off.
Bye.